Hello gamers from around the world. This is Boxenberger, the video game enthusiast from Germany, and boy, is it exciting to host a World of Gaming today, along of course with Wandering Dutch. Man, how you feeling right after this Xbox and Bethesda showcase and the Starfield Direct? How are you feeling, man?
I am feeling absolutely awesome. What a show. What a show.
Indeed.
What a show indeed.
Indeed.
It's so much to take in. So much to take in. I'm looking forward to Pong and Steel getting here as well and diving into the thoughts. Our awesome chat should be filtering into here as well from our show. You should see them across there now. So welcome everybody from the Midweek Mix-Up screen who's coming in here now. What a show. My God. What about you?
Indeed.
I'm still trying to process it.
Yeah, exactly. It's what is what I wanted to say. I kind of have to process everything, and I feel like a lot of people also here in the community feel that way. So let me shout out all the people that tuned in already here. Our chat is filling up. Welcome to you guys. We super appreciate you guys being here. We know there are tons of other programs out there. And that the fact that you chose us to come in here, discuss with us, Xbox Showcase, the Xbox Showcase, and of course Starfield means so much. Seriously, we appreciate y'all, and in just a few moments we will have the living Splitscreen guys, Pong Soul and Ice Steel Rain, here as well to discuss this showcase. They need a few more minutes because they have been doing a live reaction over on Mav's channel. They gotta wrap that up and then jump in here. So in just a second, we will have those guys here. But again, thanks everyone for tuning in, and probably some of you guys will also listen after the fact. And of course, everyone who listens after the fact, welcome. A big welcome to you guys as well. So, yeah. I don't even know where to start, Dutch. I don't even know where to start. First, I think we should put on the showcase and just let it run right here in parallel to have this to see this beauty again, because it was an amazing showcase. It was a little shorter than I expected, dude. Let's start with that before we go through the games and what has been shown. It was shorter than I thought. We knew it was 1 hour, 52 minutes. We knew that up front. So everyone was assuming 30 minutes Starfield. And that makes I don't know, an hour and 20 or so for the Xbox Showcase. But the Xbox Showcase closed after, where are my notes? 66 minutes, man.
Yep.
So what about the general presentation? You know, the pacing and everything. Where do you stand with the show?
The pacing was on point, to be fair, and we said this beforehand, we expected a slowdown in the middle, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
We got the slowdown in the middle.
Hang on 1 second. Our first of two guests is here. We will get your thoughts. But let me welcome this gentleman in here. Pong Soul. How are you doing, my brother? How are you feeling, man?
I'm virtually speechless at this point. Okay,
it's not good if you come on a podcast to discuss the showcase, man.
Listen, first things first. Everybody else was assuming 30 minutes. This guy said that Starfield would have a longer presentation. Let me just go back.
Yeah, but then you also said it's gonna come out in March, so
that is true. And had it been possible, it would have come out in March. I can guarantee that. Anyways, no, I'm absolutely floored right now. Again, yes, everybody's got to understand that I came into this showcase. Starfield already made this show a 10 out of 10 for me, okay? As long as it showed up and did exactly what I needed it to do, that was an automatic 10 out of 10. So yes, I have some bias coming into this show. But let me just talk about the rest of the show. Xbox finally did what we all knew was eventually going to happen, which was bring the goods. They have too many studios working on too many games to not have showcases like this. 11, I think it's 11. I think Phil said 11 first-party titles in the 11 in the show. This is exactly what they needed to do. And I think that the way they presented it, the pacing, as Dutch was just talking about, was spectacular. The mix of third-party and smaller titles in there worked perfectly. I thought that they kept the flow going from start to finish. The Sarah Bond stuff wasn't intrusive. The Phil stuff wasn't intrusive in any way. Didn't take away from the showcase at all. I have a very hard time finding any faults with this showcase because they did what they told us they were going to do, and I can see why they were so confident to lead off with Fable. And I called that yesterday. I said Fable. I said Fable yesterday as well. I said that. But the in-game footage that they had for Fable, oh my God. If you had any questions about whether or not Playground could do people instead of cars, answered. And 3-bit, we just had 3 bits over on Fun Speculation right now, and he said that's what the game looks like. So that's the game. So he goes, that's what I've been seeing when he was working on it. So it is absolutely gorgeous. So I won't get into
run the Fable footage again.
We can break it down later. But
we will discuss We will discuss the games individually and go through the entire showcase, of course. But you're absolutely right.
But to end it, to go through that, and then to end it with Starfield, to give Starfield that much time, which again, if you go back, why I said originally that this was going to get a longer showing, why I wanted it to have a longer showing, you go back to Fallout 3, that was a new IP for this team. Their presentation was just over 40, it was almost 45 minutes long for Fallout 3. And that's what I compared it to, because this is a new IP and there's so much to get to. And I thought that they did it brilliantly. And again, if you find fault with it, that's fine. Find fault with it. I thought they did it brilliantly. They explained almost every single aspect of Starfield that I asked for. That's the way you end a show. That's the way you present your biggest game in decades. That's how you present a generational type game that's going to have people playing for thousands of years or thousands of hours. It's really
I agree, man. I agree. Dutch, I had to interrupt you to welcome Pong and
sorry, Dutch, I took over your
so
all right.
no problem.
I've got, like, in the background in the background I've got the showcase on again.
You can watch our stream. I have the showcase running here in parallel in crisp resolution.
I'm multitasking everything, and honestly, I'm looking at feedback and everything on Twitter, and it's just overwhelmingly positive. People are blown away by Starfield naturally. People are blown away by the Hellblade show and by the Fable show, and it's just so much to take.
Dude.
It's you know what it is. There's just so much to take in.
Yeah.
Like, I did not expect
it is overwhelming. It is exactly. It is overwhelming with what they've shown, with the pacing game after game. No trailer longer than 2 minutes. Nothing overstayed its welcome. They moved on. They had, like, I mean, we get to that, but the Star Wars thing is like, mind blown. Mind blown. I would in 100 million years, I would not have assumed that they get Ubisoft to sign an exclusive Star Wars deal for Xbox. And
it's PS5.
Really? Because they said exclusive.
No.
No.
On PS5.
It said coming to Xbox, but I don't think it used exclusive.
No, it was world premiere.
Okay, we see it on screen in a second. Anyways, still, it's massive. It's massive.
Steel's here, by the way.
Bitte? Pardon me? Oh, Steel is here. Steel is here. Awesome. There he is. Now we have the full game. I have to switch to the proper overlay. There we go. Steel. Man, awesome to have you on here.
Thank you.
How are you feeling?
Good. I'm doing good. Other than my power cutting out and a transformer blowing outside middle of the show, and then freaking StreamYards giving me issues, not allowing me to get in here. It's been an interesting day thus far, but nonetheless, I was able to catch all of it, and man, I'm quite over the moon, man. I got at least 11 games I'm looking forward to. So if that doesn't tell you enough, I'm pretty hyped. Pretty hyped. For sure.
That's awesome.
Appreciate you guys having us.
Yeah, it's awesome to have you guys on, both of you actually. It's fantastic because I know everyone has their own channels, everyone wants to cover that, and so Dutch and I, we truly appreciate, of course, you guys coming on here and now discussing the entire showcase. I assume it's going to be a lengthy discussion, but that's how we like it, right? Because there is a lot to discuss, and it is absolutely exciting. And also, let me shout out again our chat; it's filling up. Again, so many parallel programs out there, and that already more than 60 people chose us, you guys, the Living Split Screen and World of Gaming, to share your thoughts. That's absolutely fantastic. So leave your thoughts in the chat. We want to hear what you thought about the show, about the games. We definitely want to know. We have put out a poll there. Yeah, you can vote, give your score. Right now, it sits at for 45% of the voters. And almost everyone watching last live here has voted. It's a 10 out of 10. So that's pretty awesome. And we already have the first super chat coming in from Dave Ramos, who sends in $5. Thank you so much, man. He says, A, great stream, Dutch. B, we'll be playing Starfield for the next decade. So grand, vast, and in-depth. And C, shout out to post-showcase hype. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Thank you, man. You hit the nail on the head. Great stream, Dutch, absolutely. And Starfield.
Has anybody seen the Constellation Edition go live yet? Anywhere? Do we know
I'm
when it's
checking
going live?
Amazon constantly.
I've got all my tabs up right now, and I'm trying. I'm like, somebody said the controller and the headset went live, and I still can't find it on Microsoft Store. I'm still looking.
In Germany, MediaMarkt, which is, I don't know, something like Target in the US, they started to sell those yesterday.
Early.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
I know, lucky all those people. I need this Constellation Edition though. This is like the only collector's edition. I haven't bought a collector's edition in over a decade. This I need this watch. I need this Starfield collector's edition. So if anybody sees it go live, please hit me up in the DMs, please.
Yeah. Or drop it in the chat so we can let everyone know. Yeah, so awesome stuff here. Okay, and one last shout before we go through the showcase. Shout out to everyone who listens on the podcast services: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Dutch. We are back to 1 subscriber on Amazon. So shout out to that guy.
What happened?
I don't know. He probably didn't like our prediction show yesterday because yesterday we had 2 subscribers. Today it was only back to 1. So anyway, this guy must be a real fan. So shout out to this guy. All right. But with that out of the way, Steele, what did you think in general of the show? Like the pacing, the setup, everything, before we go through all the games. What did you make of it?
The pacing was magnificent. I couldn't have asked for a better pace show. Game to game, it was just, I was waiting for that next world premiere. I was waiting for what game they were going to show next. I didn't know what to expect. There were some things that I would have liked to be there, a little bit more of that Eastern flair. But there was some sprinkled in there that I never knew about that I am extremely excited for. Right now, I'm sitting at a 10 out of 10. Best showcase that I've seen this year thus far. No hold barred. Nothing even is coming close. And I saw people making references like, "Oh man, the PlayStation show, and this. If you guys thought that was boring, this isn't any better." And again, like if we're just gonna put our blinders on and not like act like there wasn't a lot shown here, or you weren't able to pick out anything, maybe gaming isn't your hobby, like your true hobby anymore. I don't know. Again, I'm over the moon about it. I'm excited about what the future holds, at least for sure, especially going into 2024. All the Xbox game publishing games that they announced. I'm excited, man. That's my overall take on the show so far.
That's sweet. Yeah, I mean,
pre-orders for the collector's edition are up at GameStop right now.
Exactly. So. Lawmaster Jasper
so
said that, put that in the chat. No access to that. So I have to check for Germany. but yeah, it's awesome, man. The edition looks fantastic. So, and still, I do agree. I think Dutch, you agree as well, right? Pacing was spot on. A little lull in the middle, like you said, Dutch. But hey, they gotta promote their live service games too. So, and while you all check for the pre-orders, let's go through some of the games. We have the showcase running here in parallel. We probably won't be able to comment directly to the game shown and displayed here. We can skip back and forth a little, of course, in the footage. But yeah, guys, opening with Fable. Yeah, we had 3-Bit on here yesterday for the big prediction show. It was like, poor guy, he can't talk about anything because having worked not just on Fable but on a couple of other things as well, you can't really talk, yeah, in a prediction show. But you guys mentioned he confirmed that Fable really looks like that. Let me skip back to the trailer once more here in the footage, and
he made sure to iterate that when we were live that is exactly how the game looks.
So okay, what did you think of this in game or in engine footage? It wasn't really gameplay, so
it was. There was a section of it that was gameplay, and that was the bit where she was getting beaten around by the giant.
It could be semantics, which I get where you're coming from, Boxenberger, about that, because it's like people are going to argue that point, right? It's the same thing they did with Hellblade. That transition from the giant slamming down on that counter, when you're running away, that looked like gameplay to me, right? In Fable overall, I couldn't even have imagined that the game was going to look like that. Right, we saw some of that concept art. What was that? A couple years ago, of what they were trying to go for, and even that, like, I was expecting for it to have that more realistic tone to it, and for it to feel more human-like, for sure, more based on reality in some ways. Yeah, but I wasn't expecting that. Like,
no, me neither.
The attention to detail and the character design, and they still hit the funny notes. They kicked the chicken still. Like, the environment looked super.
I just can't believe they got a Yodi from the IT crowd. I can't believe they got him there. The IT crowd, that's the main character. The giant is from a TV series. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Dang, that's crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And that transition was dope too.
What comedian?
Okay. Never heard of it.
He's very funny, but the humor is exactly the same as what he's got in Fable, which is exactly why they've got him in. So any British people will know who that is immediately. So any English podcasts know that guy.
That transition between when you realize that he is a giant was...
And that's exactly what he looks like in real life, by the way. That's exactly what he looks like.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, Dave Ramos. Movie like it really did, man.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Dave Ramos also says Starfield Collector's Edition is on GameStop, $300. Yep.
All right, guys, go get it. Anyone interested in that, definitely go get it. The art style, Fable. I was also a little bit surprised because, like you said, we've seen some concept arts, and I always got the impression in my head, but that's of course me problem, that it's gonna look like Lord of the Rings, because all the concept art we have seen looked like it's gonna be from Lord of the Rings. But then they showed this colorful, vibrant, lush areas and surroundings. It looks fantastic. The animation work is what everyone wanted to see, because we haven't seen people or animation at all from Playground. We knew that they can do environment, and we knew that they can do lighting, but this, seriously, it looks fantastic. Like you said, they capture the look of the originals, bring it to a modern area, and build upon that. And man, I'm even more excited for Fable. Pong, what did you think?
Fable answered all the questions that a lot of people had, in my opinion, about what Playground was doing. Like you just said, there was a lot of questions. We knew the environments were going to look absolutely ridiculously good, right? We knew that just from Horizon, right? That's easy translation. But the difference is when you're creating a world full of people, what are the people going to look like?
Yeah,
NPCs,
exactly.
characters, what is that going to be like? How do you go from cars to making, animated people? Animation styles are totally two different things, and we've talked to 3-Bit about this and all the talent that they brought in to make sure that they would get this right. They brought in a ton of talent from the outside to make sure that Fable was going to look like what we just saw. However, what I'm going to say is that I didn't even expect it to look like this. Like, I had expectations. I didn't quite know what they were going to be because I didn't know what style they were going with.
Yeah.
But I did not know, especially those opening cinematic, or in-engine, I should say, scenes with the giant, which turned out to be a giant or whatever, how good his face, how good the lip movement was while he was speaking. All of that was like almost metahuman like. Like, I was like blown away. The eyes, again, the souls, like all of that. I am so impressed with what Playground has shown us here, and I can't wait to see the full game because, again, the humor did shine through, and I was on point, right? I loved it. I loved everything about it. Little odes, the chicken kicking and all that. The little odes to the old Fable. Listen, if they can make this whole game out of this, what they presented today, again, we're back. We're back to talking about another classic right here for Playground, and Playground then has to be considered one of the best developers on the planet, as they stated as their goal, to go from making open world racing games to making an open world RPG, two totally different kind of genres. Man, if they pull that off in spades, they're one of the best.
Honestly,
I'm so impressed.
how would you feel about this statement, you guys? I think that Playground has the possibility to make a more impactful transition than Guerrilla did.
Yes,
Absolutely.
They could. Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
I totally agree. Dutch, what did you think of Fable? I mean, I've said it before the show that I think Fable is gonna be like their new iconic brand. It's gonna be like mascot type of game, you know.
And I've said this before the show, and people are still saying it isn't gameplay, but that I've told you, Playground games don't mess around. They transition from in-engine to straight into gameplay. You don't notice the difference. That's exactly what happened, and people still think it's not gameplay.
Remember that Forza Horizon 5 shot where they showed the canyon and then the cars came in?
They said exactly the same thing about Hellblade. That's not gameplay. It can't be gameplay. It is gameplay. You just don't want to believe it. It's gameplay. I know it's unfortunate for you because you don't want it to be the truth, but it is the truth. That is Hellblade gameplay. That is Fable gameplay. That's what it is going to look like. There was sections in that trailer that showed actual fight scenes in Fable, like specifically at the start of it, where she throws magic at one of the guys in the thing. She's having a sword fight, and it transitions to her, 3 guys in front of her, and she throws magic at him. That's a little gameplay segment there. You've got another gameplay segment where they're again with the giant, and she's getting thrown about and stuff. That's in-game. All of it was in-game footage, but it was a mixture between in-engine and in-game. But it looked phenomenal. I love they've got the humor, and the one thing that did surprise me, as it did with quite a lot of us, is it looks a little bit more like a realistic Fable. But they still kept the whimsical silliness and the fantasy world there, even it being a little bit more grounded. But it was more. I don't know whether or not Richard Ayoade was a giant, like a giant, or whether or not you're playing like a borrower or some kind of little like a small
down or something.
Yeah. I don't know which is which. I don't know whether or not you're in a giant's world or a normal person's world, and you're a little person, or it's the opposite way around, and you're a normal person, and there's these huge giants. So it's fascinating to see. I'm looking forward to learning more about that, and we don't have to wait too long. It's next year.
Yeah, indeed. Is it yet next year? I don't think they gave a date.
Yeah, 2024.
It's 2024.
Yeah, 2024. All right. Guys, Fable, absolutely fantastic. Big fan of the trilogy, of the original trilogy. So, yeah, what a way to start this show, right? They set the tone. Okay, we are in here for the real deal, and they followed up with Compulsion. South of Midnight was revealed. First time we have seen their game. We still don't really know what it is, but we get an idea. We get an idea of the art style. It was in-engine. I loved the art style. Like this stylized comical look. It is a little overdrawn, but on point. It is dark. It is obviously a dark setting. Yeah, like what do we expect? What do you think about this reveal? What is this game going to be?
I'm thinking that South of Midnight is going to end up possibly being an adventure game, like an action adventure game potentially, dealing with a lot of that Louisiana style magic in. I'm trying to think of the term right now. I'm blanking, but nonetheless, there's a lot that you can get into, a lot of mythos and whatnot that you can get into with that being in the South like that, especially Louisiana, getting to voodoo and other type things of that nature. Which a lot of people don't tend to. I haven't seen very many games or any game really touch on that side of things. So to see that they even went this direction, the main character that you look like you're playing as, again, I'm always about representation in gaming. That spoke to me. The same thing when she spoke to the old man. It was another giant to a little person kind of scenario. It was just like she's going to asking this man for help, like she knows this guy, and then he's like giving her this look and this feel like I got something coming for you though. Like, and then you see that monster raise out of the back, and it's just like, okay, so what is this game truly going to be? I love the overall aesthetic of it. I want to see how they end up portraying it. Again, this was Compulsion, correct?
Yeah,
yes,
Compulsion.
This is Compulsion.
Yeah.
For
Compulsion to go from, because it was We Happy Few that they had before,
exactly,
to this, and again, we didn't see the gameplay or anything. But at least I know that they're pretty good at telling stories. I'm interested on what else they're going to bring to the table with this game. I'm kind of hoping it's action and adventure because I mean, I guess at least that's what I got from it, and that's kind of my style of game anyway. But and I do think that it'll be able to take advantage of a lot of those magical elements that they would be able to portray in that world. So yeah, man, it was dope. I didn't expect that at all. Like, it was crazy. I liked it a lot.
Absolutely. Dutch, what did you make of this?
Yeah, immediately the styling was just so different, but it looked awesome, and you can see it was in game kind of immediately. To be fair, that's not the kind of it's wild. It's fantasy again, another fantasy game. I don't know what it is as yet, but I'm keen to find out what it is. Right. It's very intriguing. Very intriguing.
Of course, we all have like We Happy Few in mind. Yeah. So is it gonna be something like that? Semi-open world, open areas, adventure, a little action.
Like the art styles, like as if everyone's made out of like carved ceramic or something like that.
Yes.
Such a unique styling. I love it.
Absolutely.
Right. It's not quite cell shaded, but it's like somewhere between. Man, it's dope.
It looked fantastic. Fantastic. Pong, what did you think? Anything to add to Compulsion?
Yeah, I do. I got a lot to add, but first of all, Locked and Loaded Collector's Edition is in the bag. Let's go. Let's go. I had to sign up for a pro membership and everything to order it this early. I didn't care. I did it. All right, we're
good stuff.
Love the spirit, man.
Oh man, this is good stuff. Compulsion, Compulsion's game blew me. Listen, I understand it's not gameplay. I'm one of those guys who's okay with CGI trailers and stuff for the first showing, right? So if you're gonna tell me that you're giving me in-game or in-engine, cinematics or whatever you're gonna do to launch this, fantastic. The one caveat to that, the one requirement I do have for the first showing, and this is South of Midnight by Compulsion I'm talking about.
Yeah, South of Midnight.
Yeah, South of Midnight. So the one caveat I do have is that you must give me an idea of what this game is going to feel like, to be like. You don't have to tell me like the story. You don't have to tell me exactly what all the mechanics I'm using. None of that. Just give me a feeling of what the game's going to be like. This trailer set the entire tone for the game. Like, I know exactly what it's going to feel like, that I'm going to be traveling through the swamps, Louisiana, Deep South. The music fit perfectly with the atmosphere. Then you have a great character show up, right? A character that I'm assuming is going to be the main character that we're going to be playing, right?
Yeah.
I can assume that. And she brings to the story something different as she walks up to this skeleton, whatever giant, as he's playing his guitar with blues that are, it was absolutely beautiful. And she asks him if he's happened to seen this monster. And sure enough, as they're sitting there, as he's kind of raising his head slowly, right, to answer her or to not answer her, just to stare at her, right, then you could see the monster rise up out of the swamp behind her, right? And then she goes and she knows it's there, and then she pulls this little trinket out of, I don't know what it was. Was it a trinket? I didn't get a good look at it. And then she starts to weave this magic spell, and she turns around to face the monster, right? Yeah. And to me, that set the tone. I have a general feeling of what this game is going to be like. Now, what style it is, right? Are we going to be doing first person, third person? We don't know any of that stuff yet. We've heard rumblings. Is it going to be an RPG through and through? Is it going to be more action? I would assume from the trailer it's going to be more action, RPG style, maybe. I don't care. The fact that Compulsion showed up again, another studio that people dismissed when they were acquired. People forget because obviously We Happy Few did not hit the way that obviously they wanted it to. They didn't have the resources. They didn't have the time. Now they're underneath the umbrella. This is something I've been speaking on for years. These studios that Xbox built, that picked up, and have now built up. Everybody likes to say Microsoft doesn't build their own studios. BS. They may acquire, studios that are already there, but they build them up afterwards. All these studios have been gathering talent, have been gathering all the
Ninja Theory
resources.
was at 20-something people. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. And what did Compulsion get? Compulsion went to Phil after he saw We Happy Few launch, right? And it didn't get the best reviews and didn't get the best reception. They still had the confidence to go to Phil as the story is told and say, we want to do a AAA game. We have this great new idea, but we are going to need a new studio and we're going to need more people. Phil took a look at their idea and said, you got it. Built them a new studio and gave them the resources to go get new talent. Compulsion's going to show up with this game, surprise a lot of people. And again, it's going to be another name that people completely dismiss out of that list of acquisitions that all of a sudden people go, whoa, okay. And that's because of Xbox's backing. That's because Xbox does build up these studios. And what I saw today is a great first start for the studio. Obviously, we still have to wait a lot more to see what it's going to turn out to be and what it feels like and what it plays like. But today was a great start for Compulsion Games. I'm happy for that team. I can't wait to see the finished product.
Yeah, absolutely. I was like, okay, you automatically think We Happy Few style type of game. But then when I saw the trailer, like you said, the girl, probably the main protagonist, goes up to the sky looking for a certain monster. I was like, is this like Monster Hunter type of game? Go out, get bounties for monsters, something like that. I don't know. I love the art style. And like you said, Xbox has done it so many times with studios. They bought them and they built them up. They buy them as small studios. Undead Labs, Double Fine, Compulsion, Ninja Theory. Yeah, the list is long of, like you said, those underrated studios that people dismiss. And that's because they don't know what they are working on. They know their pedigree when they have been smaller indie studios, but they don't know what they are working on right now. And this is what made this Xbox showcase so exciting, because they changed exactly that narrative. We know now what a Compulsion is working on. We know now what an Exile is working on. We know for the most part, we know about the studios. Not all of them, of course not. They're gonna have to have a showcase next year as well. So, but it's fantastic. Then moving on. something I did really not see coming. And looking at the footage again, you guys were right. I was like, while taking notes that it's going to be exclusive. It's not. Massive Entertainment, Star Wars, Ubisoft, the Ubisoft Star Wars game, and absolutely insane looking trailer. It was absolutely bonkers. We're gonna see full gameplay reveal tomorrow, which is awesome. Which is awesome because Ubisoft. We're gonna. I don't know what you guys are doing. That we definitely gonna cover that as well. We're gonna do live reaction.
I'll be at work.
You'll be at work. See, Dutch and I, we took 2 days off work, Monday and Tuesday. So we have time to cover everything. We're going to cover that. So if you guys want to join us there as well, sorry for the little self-promotion right now, but Ubisoft tomorrow, I can't wait. I want to see Assassin's Creed Mirage. I want to see the Star Wars game, obviously. Avatar and Prince of Persia. I loved what I've seen so far. Vastly different Ubisoft game, guys. Finally, something different. We have to appreciate that. So we're gonna do a live stream over on Dutch's channel, and just like today, you're gonna transition over then to the post show here on this channel. So definitely stay tuned for that. But yeah, guys, I want to hear thoughts. Did anyone see that coming? Dutch, what do you think? So let's start this time with you.
No. And the first person I went to, because Jen, before the show, said he wanted to see the new Star Wars game. I said, you never know, but it seems a bit far-fetched that they would show it off here. I was gladly wrong, because that opening like 10 minutes of the showcase was just insane. Like, I just did, like, it was just so hard. I was like, Fable, wow. And then the new In Exile game, okay, insane. Okay, then Star Wars, insane. And then they just kept going. And I was like, what is going on? Like, I can't even catch a breath here. Yeah. It's like they just didn't let up in that opening section. And that Star Wars game got me interested immediately. Of course, naturally, it is Ubisoft. We have to give them a little bit of a step back when it's Ubi, because we know sometimes it can be a bit dubious, but from what they showed, is definitely an interesting concept. The one thing I do love is that they seem to be in the vein of a story game like Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor.
Not an open world.
It looked very story oriented, which it looked fantastic, to be honest. And automatically, that's what it reminded me of. I was like, we're getting like a bounty hunter version of Jedi, and that automatically it's like I am in. It looked fantastic. It really did.
I'm not 100% sure, but I think when they announced it on Twitter that they are working on that game, they said, we are working on an open world Star Wars game. But I'm not really sure. But
I would imagine so with it being a bounty hunter game, because you collect bounties.
Absolutely. So, Pong, Steel, what did you guys think?
Listen, massive with a Snowdrop engine, one of the best engines out there, one of my favorite engines. Division 2 is absolutely drop dead
bananas.
Gorgeous. I don't care what you think about the game after the updates to the current gen.
Paul, the fact that we talked about Star Wars and that Snowdrop engine like a year ago, and the potential of that, how dope that would be.
And here we are. Steel, you know how much we love that engine and what it could bring to this game. Obviously, I can't wait till tomorrow to see exactly what this game is going to be. Here's a couple details that we did find out. The game is set between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. Thank you. We're going back to classic times. But the fact that Xbox went out and got the marketing rights for a big IP game. I know people get bored with this conversation. They say they don't need it, yada, yada, yada. They do need these types of deals. These deals do work wonders. We saw it with the Harry Potter game and when PlayStation had the marketing rights. That game actually sold consoles for PlayStation. I can guarantee you that, right? So at the end of the day, for Xbox to be back in the ring again, getting big third-party IP, even if it's not necessarily coming to Game Pass, because they said nothing about that here. Just the fact that they went and got the marketing rights, huge W to go get this game with Ubisoft in tow. Massive Studio is a great developer. Yes, I understand it's Ubisoft. Yes, I understand that people have reservations when it comes to a lot of what they've done recently and a lot of their decision making. But I think Massive's one of those studios within Ubisoft that kind of does their thing, and Ubisoft doesn't try to meddle too much. Now, we'll see, right? We're going to get more details tomorrow, but this game is amazing looking. I am day one. I can't wait to play this game. Obviously tomorrow, if it shows up and it's a Dance Dance Revolution game, well, then I'm not in. But if this is an actual Star Wars bounty hunter type game, I'm hyped for it. I can't wait to get to see more about it. And I'll be looking forward to it.
Awesome.
So for me, man, Star Wars Outlaw, again, for it to be something that was kind of unexpected and I wasn't predicting. This was something we've been talking about and throwing around just because we thought it would be a dope idea, especially after our more recent run through of the Division 2, us jumping back in, probably putting in another 40 hours into the 40 to 100 hours into the game again. It was just unbelievable, man. Now, I do agree with Dutch. That was the first thing that I thought of with, man, this kind of reminds me of a Jedi Survivor, Jedi Fallen Order type of style of game. But then when you say it's open world, of course, it's going to be more expansive than those style of games. But then we also have to be kind of careful. It could go kind of to one of two ways, because Ubisoft typically has a formula where it's just like you have all these things on this map. You got to go clear it all out and do all this stuff.
Yeah.
I think that does work a bit better in a Star Wars bounty hunter game because, again, you're the bounty hunter. And then the other thing that adds on to that, then kind of like solidifies the fact that you don't have the Force or anything like that. It seems like she was talking to a Jedi in her ship when she was leaving or whatever the case might. It looked like he was a Jedi at least. I could be wrong in that. So that already gives you a completely different dynamicism than you had in Jedi Fallen Order, where Cal is pretty much kind of like the last hope. Whereas in this one, you're just some ragtag kid or whichever the case, trying to figure things out, maybe trying to answer some questions, maybe you're trying to avenge somebody. Who knows? But the fact that it is going to be in that snowdrop engine, I can only imagine how those lasers are going to look passing through the clouds, through the smoke, how people, when the Jedi do pull out their lightsabers, how those battles are going to end up looking, the character development. Again, like there is so much that's going to end up going into this, man. It's, again, something that I wasn't expecting. It was jokes that we were making in the background, just kind of, playing with the information that we had available to us. And the fact that they're coming out and saying, yep, we got a Star Wars IP. I have full-blown confidence with them, and I'm looking forward to it. That was
awesome. Yeah, I like the vibe I'm getting here from you guys, because I've been saying it for so long. I think we all have. They need pop culture IPs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's not just third-party deals. Yeah. It's third-party. It's pop culture IPs. The Star Wars, the superheroes, and they are going for it, and I love it. I can't wait to see how it is, what it is. We're gonna see tomorrow, and we will talk a lot more Star Wars then. Yeah, right. But let me briefly shout out Paul Drew, who is not only an awesome channel member, but sends in a £5 super chat. Brother, thank you so much. And he says, "Great show, guys. The showcase dipped in the middle for me a bit, but still a solid 9 out of 10. I do agree, it dipped a little in the middle. Yeah. With all the Persona and Yakuzas, but we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there.
No dip for me. It was solid all the way through.
So you're telling me you were excited about Fallout 76 and Elder Scrolls Online, and
yeah, I'm always excited to see those MMOs because I played both of them extensively. Well, not 76 extensively, but I played ESO extensively. So yeah, I still get excited for that stuff. I love to see what those teams are doing, and they were entertaining trailers. They weren't boring trailers.
That's true. Yeah.
And
That's true. So, all right. To not stretch the show too long, the next couple of games were Immortals 33 or 33 Immortals. I'm not sure which way.
33 Immortals. 33 Immortals.
Exactly. 33 Immortals. Payday 3. And then we got the already leaked up front Persona 3 Reload trailer. Day 1 Game Pass. Payday 3 also coming Day 1 Game Pass. So, anything you guys wanna say about those 3 games before we move to the next big one?
33 Immortal. Oh, go ahead, Dutch. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm going to quickly wrap up mine because I think these guys have got more interest in the sort of titles and things than I do. But 33 Immortals, again, I love seeing the indie showings on this. And as soon as I seen 33-player co-op on this, I was like, that is insane. That is just wild. It's going to get nuts on screen. It's a game that I'll definitely try. It's 100% a game I'll try. Really big gets. And again, as much as me and Boxy, the Persona games are not for us. Mm-hmm. These are still huge gets, and for specifically the Japanese and the Asian markets. Mm-hmm. Of course, we've still got a lot of fans in Western markets as well with those Japanese and titles. So it is a huge get for Microsoft to have a strengthening partnership with Sega and Atlus again, to the point where they're getting these new remakes and new games straight into Game Pass day one. I think it's a huge ask from them as well. So to shout out to the team for getting that. As much as it's not for me, I know that's a game for others, and they're super hyped that that's coming. So yeah, huge get.
Talk to him, Pong. What you got to say about those 3 games, man?
Listen. I love me some indies, and I love me some just regular old good games to play, right? And I love the East. So we got a good mix here. 33 Immortals looks fantastic. Again, just like Dutch was saying, 33 players on the screen at the same time doing raids in that art style. Just looks fantastic. I can't wait. I can't wait to see more on this game. I want to see what else is involved, like looting. What do we got going on, right? So 33 Immortals from Thunder Lotus. Hats off to them. Great showing. Loved it. Payday 3. What can he say? More Payday. If you like co-op player stuff where you got to strategize a little bit, Payday is your game, because you could try to run and gun, but generally speaking, in Payday 2, you'd get, it didn't work. You'd be laying there on the ground, hoping somebody was going to come pick you up, all right? Payday 3 for Game Pass specifically is a big W. Is it one of those games that everybody goes, oh my God, these are one of the greatest games I've ever played in my life? No, but it's a fun time with some friends to jump into and play some Payday. So that was good. And then Persona 3, listen, the East had to be represented, has to continue to be represented here. The fact that Atlus went from not putting any games on the Xbox One to now being full in on Xbox says a ton about that deal that Microsoft and Xbox cut with Sega to help out with their new gaming initiative that everybody poo-pooed and tried to say was no big deal.
Yeah.
Oh no, it was a big giant deal, okay? Because now Xbox has Atlus fully invested into their ecosystem. In fact, they are showing off new games, and Atlus is Xbox's answer to Sony and Square Enix.
Right.
Correct.
I have put exactly that note in my sheet right here.
And the deal is they don't even have to sign exclusivity deals. Nope. They just get their games in Game Pass, which makes them automatically like an exclusive deal. It's a beautiful situation that they've worked out here. Atlus is on the upswing as well. Persona is gaining in popularity, whereas Final Fantasy has somewhat trailed off a little bit. It's still giant. It's trailed off.
Majorly close.
It's trailed off. But Atlus, I know, Atlus is ascending right now. So these deals they're getting with Atlus to bring these games in, chef's kiss. It's a great moment for Xbox to see this stuff.
I'd fully agree here. I mean, 3 major Atlus games coming in one showcase.
A new game announcement, 2 new game announcements, technically speaking, from Tactica, because Tactica was never known until we got the leak. But then their other new game, Metaphor, that's brand new IP from Atlus, from one of their big teams. Again, if you don't do JRPGs, if you don't follow that genre, you can say, well, that's no big deal. Trust me, worldwide, that's a giant deal right there. That is huge to get that on stage.
I agree. It's absolutely not for me. I've said it to Dutch. Those games and trailers, they give me an epileptic seizure, and that's all. But it's
so beautiful. How can you say that?
Not even close for me. But it's like I always say, not every game is for every gamer. and a lot of people like those type of games, and they have been served this in this showcase most certainly, and I think that's in general one of the beautiful things about this showcase. There was something for everyone. Because the next thing is the one that has given me goosebumps, and that is Avowed. Obsidian has shown it off with gameplay coming in 24. Looks really colorful. It is like what we hoped. Their take on Skyrim. There's no denying that.
What I got from it.
A little bit more colorful than I expected it to be. Very beautiful. I did not expect this graphics showcase. Yeah, like we got from Hellblade or something. Yeah, that's like the visuals blow you away. But Avowed looks beautiful. It looks like it is typical Obsidian, filled with humor, but still serious, like story and take on the world. Cannot wait to explore Eora like that. I don't know if you guys played their games. It's not a new world, Eora, obviously, but man, I'm so excited for this game. You see a lot of customization for abilities, like you have to combine them to work properly together, left and right hand. You have vastly different biomes in the game. They've shown so many things. I'm trying to jump back a little bit in the showcase so that we can at least watch one more time Avowed while I hand the mic over to you guys. What did you think? Who wants to go first?
I'll take it.
Right.
I'm probably going to be the one that's like probably the least interested in Avowed. From what I saw from it, looks like it's going to be cool. It's colorful. I like the biggest thing that I liked was the use of magic. So that's what really appeals to me. I want to see what that's going to feel like. Typically in those, I'm not really a first person game player. Not typically. But it is going to be interesting for me to at least jump in there, since I have expanded my roots quite a bit, to try something different. It's going to be in Game Pass. I'll be able to try it day one and see if it is going to be something for me. But that's Avowed was, if I had to pick a lull, that was probably the main one for me, because it just didn't speak to me personally. But I thought it looked good. It was creative. I hope that it is going to be the game that people were expecting. But yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on Avowed thus far. So,
all right. Again, not every game is for every gamer. That's totally fine. But I'm a huge Skyrim fan. It's like I think one of the top 3 best games ever made. And I have played, I don't know how many hours of Skyrim. I own it on every system. And since Obsidian has made the best Fallout game to date, when they were handed over a Bethesda IP, I have full confidence that this is going to blow us away. And I really cannot wait to see more and play the game. Pong, I know you're a big Bethesda fan.
Yeah. And I'm a big Obsidian fan, and I've been saying this for a long time too. That Obsidian now under Xbox, with the time, with the resources, will be probably their most consistent studio, obviously by far. They can be the Insomniac version over here, but I think that Obsidian has always taken a back seat to Bethesda. They've been like the little brother. As far as their RPGs go, obviously they came out and blew everybody away when they did New Vegas, right, and wound up creating the best Fallout, but they haven't had as many opportunities to do this type of game. And here they are again. Outer Worlds is a smaller version of Fallout, more colorful, more what do I want to say? Humorous, obviously, that kind of stuff. It shows who they are as a studio. So when I thought of Avowed, I didn't expect them to go gritty more so like a Skyrim. I expected them to be Obsidian, and that's exactly what I saw in this trailer. But I saw them take that next step again. Their writing, their world building, their character arcs are all fantastic. They're right up there with Bethesda. And they're using the Pillars of Eternity world, which already has deep lore built into it, as you well know, Boxenberger.
Yeah.
Deep lore. So I can't wait to get my hands on Avowed. It's everything that I was hoping for, and I was sitting there going, yeah, this is Obsidian Skyrim. If somebody told me they were going to do some kind of offshoot like they did with New Vegas of Elder Scrolls, like Bethesda said, hey, Obsidian, go do this Elder Scrolls, but make it you. Like, this is exactly what I expected, because I was watching some of the combat and some of the interactions, and I was like, this is Skyrim. Now we'll see how big the world is. That's what I'm curious about. I'm curious if it's going to be smaller sections like the Outer Worlds, or if they are going Skyrim, if they are going big, wide, open world, go wherever you want to. That's the only thing I'm left curious about.
I've got some good news for you, Pong.
You do. Tell me, sir. Tell me.
The Xbox Extended Showcase on Tuesday will include deeper dives into Avowed, Towerborn, and Hellblade 2, including Elder Scrolls Necrom and the new Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Let's go. Let's go. Awesome,
Avowed and Hellblade at the Extended Showcase.
Deep dives into both of those. Yeah.
Ooh, love it.
Ooh.
So yeah, I am excited. I am excited for Avowed. This is exactly what I was looking forward to. I can't wait till next year. It's going to be a really great year.
Absolutely. Dutch, anything to add to Avowed?
Avowed, you know what it is? It's exactly what I expected to see from Obsidian and their open world game. It immediately just invoked a new classic feel in me as to what we got with Skyrim, but with just more.
Yeah,
it's more impressive, both visually. The color palette is just insane. The color palette just immediately you know it's Obsidian because of the way that they did the Outer Worlds and the way that they created the color palette on that. It was just pop, just in your face with colors and lighting, and it really stood out. And immediately I could just see myself again, another game like Starfield, just deeply engrossed in that, and I can't wait. It's another fantastic one, and I'm so glad we got a release window for 24 for that as well. Hopefully we're going to see these. This is what I see when I see 2024, and knowing we're going to Gamescom.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully, guys. But yeah, it's fantastic. Obsidian are absolute masters at this thing, and I can't wait to see more about what they're creating on Tuesday.
Tuesday, man. I just opened the Xbox Wire. That is so cool. They're gonna have the extended look at Avowed, Towerborn, and Hellblade 2, but they will also show new games from our creative partners that we didn't show you today.
More games being shown on Tuesday. And straight after that, by the way, Forza have also confirmed they're doing a deep dive in and more in-game gameplay from Forza for the career mode straight after the extended showcase.
Yes.
Pretty awesome. So the Xbox hasn't finished yet. They just getting started. Sounds man. Awesome stuff. Okay, moving on from Avowed. Then we had the Monkey Island and Sea of Thieves crossover. Is it okay if we're just gonna skip that one?
Yeah, I mean it's cool. I mean I know
great partnership,
super popular. You know what I mean?
Sure.
For them to bring in the Sea of Thieves
again,
I think it's a match made in heaven. Sea of Thieves isn't for me, but hey,
same man. I know Dutch, you love it. So I definitely want to give you the opportunity to talk about it a little bit.
For what was that? Sorry, for which one?
The Sea of Thieves and Monkey Island crossover.
Oh yes. So a huge Monkey Island fan anyway. I've loved Monkey Island since day dot. Me and Nick already knew this was coming. We knew it was in production. We've heard about it for months and months and months, and it was a case of, do they show it now or do they wait? And I did say, if they did show it, it's likely to be what they did last time and have a very close release window, like they did with the Disney expansion. So to see them get that out the door and to see it very, very soon to be able to be playable, a brand new story experience there, and to get the original actors in from Monkey Island as well to do Guybrush Threepwood and everything like that was really great to see, and it really looks awesome. The previous Disney experience was tremendous. I wanted more of that kind of thing for Sea of Thieves because the story in it was great, really well done. And anybody who hasn't even played Sea of Thieves or doesn't intend to play it like that, you can quite easily go in and just play the story ones by themselves. They're segmented by themselves. So you can go in, play the Disney one, the Pirates of the Caribbean, or you can go in and just play the now I've forgotten the name of it, Monkey Island expansion. You can play that as segmented kind of sections, so you don't have to jump into Sea of Thieves to play those games. So yeah, I'm super excited for it. I'm glad it's been announced, and looking forward to playing it.
It's super dope. You're muted, Bucks.
I'm better now.
Yeah.
Good stuff. So, all right. Again, they have so many successful live service games. They have Sea of Thieves, Fallout, Elder Scrolls Online. They have to give updates on those. Even though sometimes people make fun of that they have a massive fan base. So no wonder that it was in there. And it didn't overstay its welcome. It was 2 minutes and then move on to a Asobo flight sim.
Yes.
Continues.
New flight sim, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah, that was the question I was asking. Yep.
Flight sim.
So it's
It
not
isn't
an
the
update,
same
right,
one?
Dutch? It's not.
It's not an update. It's a
No,
brand
it's a
new flight
brand
sim.
new one.
It looked cool
Yeah.
as hell. Career
Yeah, it
mode
looks
in
super
flight
good.
sim.
Yeah.
Full
Yes,
career
dope.
mode with
Yeah.
full career
Yes.
Yeah.
mode. Insane.
And
Insane.
so many different aircraft vehicles. Like they have choppers now. You have like drones. You have helicopters.
Hot air
everything.
balloons.
Hot air balloons. Yeah.
Yes.
And it continues to
Gliders.
look stunning. And I have not even remotely thought about that being a possibility that they come out next year with a new flight sim.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think anybody saw that coming. I don't think anybody thought they're going to bring a brand new flight sim out immediately. So what this seems like to me is that the flight sim last one is this ever evolving grandiose world which they'll just continue to build on. And Flight Sim 2024 is more a iterative career mode game where you can go in and do these awesome careers. You can be search and rescue. You can do chartered flights for celebrities. You can go and do wildlife observation or track weather phenomenon. You can do all these magical things and actually have a career. So it's going to be a little bit easier, I think, for everybody else to play as opposed to the big real-time giant world that is kind of never ending and no one knows what they're doing. They're just like, I'll just go for a fly. So yeah, it's awesome to see it, and I think it's only going to look better again.
Yeah.
Having had a couple of years to work from the previous one to this one.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
the only game that can get away with 30 FPS, by the way.
Oh god.
Well, yeah, that's Flight Sim. It's crazy that it's even running on console in the first place.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, absolutely. Let us talk about running crazy games on console. The next one was Hellblade 2. Melina Jürgens came out. Yeah. She mentioned that they finished the recording for Hellblade 2. That the footage we're about to see is captured on Xbox Series X. And it had an insane showing of their binaural audio technology. I don't know if you've watched it with headphones on. If you did, they've taken it to the next level with that game. Not just visually, but also with the audio. And coming 2024 was confirmed now. Well, I must say this was the first little minor disappointment because I was honestly expecting it this year. But nevertheless, it looks fantastic, although I can understand the criticism I see on Twitter right now. about it not being continued gameplay. It is a cutscene. They've shown a cutscene. There was nothing in this footage that they have shown where you can see, okay, here is someone interacting with a controller and doing something. And I can understand that criticism. We wanted to see combat. We wanted to see someone walk Senua through the world, do something interactive. And we have not seen it. It was a fantastic looking trailer. And I have no doubt that the gameplay will look exactly like that because they have those seamless transitions. It's not like in other games where you get taken out and then you have pre-rendered cutscenes or something. This is the real deal. This is how the game is going to look like. But we've not seen real action gameplay. So, what did you guys think?
Look, if you've played the first Hellblade, and if we're going to continue to say that that game was only made by 20 people, then what do you think that this game's going to look like, or play like, or feel like, any of that? It's going to be leagues and bounds expanded upon compared to that first iteration of the game. The reason I can believe that that is how the game looks, albeit it was a cutscene. You could tell, right? And it's very similar to how the first game is, to where it goes to cutscenes, but it's also very seamless. There is no difference in the visuals. The game looks the same across the board. It's like God of War, right? Where it's like, oh, we got this one camera and we did it all with one camera, or Halo, we did it all with one camera. It's kind of the same thing here, right? There is no, we're way past the point of, oh, that's a cutscene and it looks, the actual gameplay looks like almost 10 levels lower than the actual cutscene does. We're not there anymore. We're way beyond that. So I enjoyed the first Hellblade so much. On a psychological level, the audio is insane, right? And in this trailer, I feel like this trailer was more so because since we do know now that they're going to show more of it, maybe that's where we get the combat. Maybe that's where we get the walkthrough, whether that's Tuesday or whichever the case. But with that being said, you can still tell that the audio has been leveled up. You can tell that the animations seemingly are going to be leveled up, that the environments are seemingly leveled up. The way that everything was moving in the background as she was communicating with herself and whatever presence that was there, it's like the world was transforming around her. And it was literally goosebump inducing. And it ramped up my excitement for what I can expect for Hellblade 2 because of what I experienced with Hellblade 1. I understand that combat is something that we do need to see because that was a weak point for the first one. But again, for 20 people who bring a product out and tell their story, oh man, we're in it for a special treat this time around. I have no reason to deny or doubt, or literally no reason for Ninja Theory to be in question at this point. I'm excited. 2024, polish it up. I'm with you though, Box, too. I would have liked to see it be like a Christmas game. That would have been awesome. But if you got to do 2024 to get that extra polish in, I don't mind it because man, I'm still dumbfounded by the way that trailer made me feel. And that's for me.
Yeah, for Hellblade, for me, I'm waiting with my Hellblade mid-up feature. It was as everybody slightly disappointed here to see that it was didn't make this year, but mainly not seeing that combat. I am relieved to see that we're getting a deeper dive with it on Tuesday.
Yes,
that kind of slightly takes the edge off that. However, what we saw was phenomenal.
Yeah.
But this is the problem with this is because it looks so great, and we already knew that from the first gameplay trailer we saw, and it's a case of it is gameplay, but we all still kind of got that thing in our heads where we're like, it's not actually gameplay though, but it is gameplay, but it's not gameplay. Like it looks that phenomenal. It's just so weird to try and comprehend it. And there are segments there that we can see is gameplay segments. Even in that trailer there, the only section we really saw that was gameplay was walking from the off, walking to the
Yes.
the puzzle
Yeah,
thing.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Yeah.
That was gameplay, and then the rest of it was obviously in-engine cinematic for the remainder. But yeah, we do need to see a little bit of a deeper dive on this. However, to get a confirmation that we've got that with Avowed as well next year, crazy start of next year, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of it the more it goes on. But Steel's exactly on point. The audio work again, next level. It's not as manic this time. It's more just she's kind of semi-controlled voices there, and she's listening to them, but she's ignoring them. And she's going through with it, and you've seen the positive affirmations at the end where they're kind of saying, "Yeah, they know she's ready. She's ready.
Yeah,
she's gonna do it." And then she goes through and breaks through, and I was like, "Whoa!" And then she breaks through into the water at the end. I was like, right, this is gonna kick in, and just like boom, Hellblade. I was like, I was like, I want more. I want more. But no, I'm super hyped. I'm just so glad it's coming out next year. Let's be honest, and we'll get to it at the end of this discussion because Starfield's a whole new thing.
Yeah.
But after seeing
that game's gonna be wild.
After seeing that and having Forza to play, like the end of this year, on top of already still playing
all the
Diablo,
other games that we will get as well.
Jesus wept. Yeah, it's gonna be hard.
I agree there, Dutch. I do agree with what you're saying. It's never about us running out of games. I can't myself see running out of games to play. I still have to be honest though.
Of course.
We will get to this a little bit more in depth at the end, but since you brought it up, I've said Xbox needs to do 3 things for me to be that this showcase is a 10 out of 10, and they did only 2 out of 3 things. And the one thing they didn't do is have another game ready. And why is this so important? Because Starfield and Forza were not supposed to be 23 titles. They have not. Their Xbox biggest problem is consistency. They have They have their highs, but they also have their lows for months and years. We had 18 months of nothing, because of the delay of Starfield. We had 18 months of no major releases. And then we got to Redfall. And now we are waiting almost, if we take Redfall out, it's 22 months in between the 2 major releases. And them not having another major game ready for this year shows me they had nothing else planned. Because if Starfield would have made the planned release, they would have nothing planned for this year. And we would have gotten another year without anything to play. Yeah. And that is the message. And I have to be honest here, as good as this showcase was, they missed this mark. They lack inconsistency again. We are not running out of games to play, but they are also not delivering on their promises. And so, but we will get to that probably more towards the end of the show. So, Hellblade. Sorry for being a downer for a second there. But
you know what it is.
I would feel like a hypocrite because I always see those people out there with the prediction shows saying we want this, and that, and then they don't deliver on anything, and afterwards everything is fantastic. And
I'm going to level this off because for once in a blue moon, we know what Erwin is like in the chat. We know. I'm going to shout out to Erwin. Erwin is Mr. Negative. But if you have a look at our chat at the moment, he is so hyped. He's so happy about the way Forza.
We can all be excited. I mean, seriously, we can be excited because they have shown us exactly what we wanted. They have shown the games. They have shown in-engine and gameplay. We have a proper roadmap. We know what most of the studios are working on now. It's fantastic. We will have the incredibly looking Starfield, and we will have Forza to play this year. So it's tough to complain. But Pong, what did you make? We were at Hellblade, dude.
Yes, we were at Hellblade 2. Listen, Hellblade 2 gave us the visual and audio feast one more time.
Yeah.
This is what I expected from Ninja Theory. Yes, I was also on the train that said I would like to see combat. But they did nail the other mark, which I asked of them to say that it was going to be on Series X, that's what they were going to show us, and that's what they did as well. So any question that Ninja Theory is now going to set the watermark, the high bar, when it comes to visuals, is done and over with. This game is going to be an exceptional visual feast. And then they're also going to set the mark with audio. I have cheap earbuds in for podcasting, right? I have cheap earbuds, very cheap, $20 earbuds, right? I still was getting goosebumps from the audio, listening to what was going on, because it wasn't just the whispers, it was the environment that itself was telling a story while the voices were talking to her. If you didn't pick up on it, or if you weren't wearing headsets, you wouldn't know what that was like. But to me, I was listening to the walls themselves speak to her as well, on top of the whispers. It is such a unbelievable moment for a video game development team to put all of this together like this. Yes, we've had great audio in different forms before, but again, to me, Ninja Theory is telling a story unto itself through the audio and then giving you another one through the visuals. This is a whole new level here. Like, this is something completely different. The first one touched on that. The first one, again, is something I haven't finished the first one yet. I'm probably about 75% through.
Amazing.
But every time I play that game, I have to take breaks after 45 minutes because the voices start to get to me. I'm literally, I'm not, it's not that I'm scared. It literally starts to play with me. Like, I'm thinking, like, what's going on? Like, I'm getting weirded out. So, but this one is taking it to a whole nother level. I think Ninja Theory, yes, I would have liked to see combat, but we have plenty more time. I believe they're going to have, obviously, a developer direct that highlights Hellblade 2 prior to launch at some point, either the end of this year, depending on how early next year it is. Again, I'm on the train that I think we see this early next year. We'll see. But I think they were going to have another dev direct. We're going to have deep dives. We're going to see more on Tuesday, so we'll see what they show there. There's plenty of time here to show off the combat. There's plenty of time to show off the other stuff that goes into this game. They're setting us up right now of what Senua's world is going to look like this time around versus the first game. And I think that's very important because that's a main part of the experience of Hellblade. So, again, hats off to Ninja Theory. I'm just going to be patient. I got plenty to play. Starfield is going to be my existence for the next year anyways. So I'm just going to sit back and enjoy Hellblade as it comes along. So I can't wait. But hats off to them. They did a great job here.
Hey, they absolutely did. It, from a technical standpoint, it looks no doubt insane. But I also think the way how they present the story and how they present their madness and their she goes even deeper into madness when you continue in the first game. It's fantastic, and I cannot wait to see what they do with that. Gentlemen, we are already 1.5 hours into our post show, and we are still at Hellblade, and we have to talk about
and we've got
Starfield.
2 hours of Starfield. Yes,
right,
so let's go.
right. So let's pick it up a little bit. Next couple of games were Yakuza, Infinite Wealth.
That was interesting.
Funny trailer.
It was funny. It was
definitely.
I wasn't expecting that.
The Yakuza games are beloved by many. It's coming to Xbox and Game Pass 24, so that's good. Fallout 76 was then part of it. We already mentioned. Yeah, they had to bring it in, given the success. Then we had Capcom.
The next one, yes. This one, yes.
Day one Game Pass.
Yes.
Path of the Godless. Very colorful third-person hack and slash RPG-ish game.
We all thought it looked like Onimusha.
Yes, that's what we said too.
Yeah.
That's what we said too. Yep. Thought they were bringing it back.
Yeah.
Capcom is at their peak right now. Boxenberger. Capcom. This is Capcom of 360 era when they were trying new IP all the time.
Yeah.
I love this Capcom. This is a confident
Absolutely.
Capcom that now is running their business the way that they want to. The fact that Xbox has a great relationship seemingly with them right now is a perfect time, right? So we are getting Exo Primal into Game Pass, and now we are getting Path of Goddess, which looks like a brand new IP that could be something special for them. It did remind me of Onimusha, which if they're going back to that style, fantastic. But man, the art direction, the colors, everything, this is peak Capcom. I am so happy. Game Pass day and date, another surprise game from a third-party publisher that we didn't hear about, much like Wolong was earlier this year, right? We never heard of Wolong. The fact that we're getting this next year from Capcom, hats off to Xbox. Again, go and make these deals in the East and bringing that flavor on over. I'm excited for this one. This one looks great.
Yeah, absolutely. So the next one, Forza. I mean, the release date already leaked, so we knew it's coming October 10th.
Wanted to see it officially, though, for sure.
Yeah. I was up front a little worried that they might put in a lengthy segment there. You know, like, I don't know, 10-minute gameplay thing. Wasn't that? I loved what they did, because they showed the cover cast. They got to do that, of course. Yeah, big partnerships with the car manufacturers. So then they showed off a lot of tuning is possible. Yeah, not just how the car drives, but also from a visual aesthetic standpoint. They teased the career mode and then moved on. And like Dutch said already, extended gameplay after the extended showcase. We'll finally see how they race, but we know how a racing game in theory looks. But it looks fantastic. Yeah. So September we got Starfield.
Yeah, for me on Forza, I like how they, much to what you're saying, I like how they kept it short, but to me that was a trailer for career mode, because you kept hearing the in-car kind of commentating from your pit crew or something like that, telling you, okay, we need to change, we need to do X, Y, and Z. So that emphasized more like a career trailer to me, and that was good to see, because everybody wants to see what the career's about. Yeah. Short, sweet, to the point, and the release date.
Exactly. Exactly. Anything to add? Because then let's skip forward a little bit here. Bethesda, Elder Scrolls Online, Necrome, the edition. Then Blizzard Overwatch, story missions are coming. Another Atlas game, Persona Tactica, coming to Game Pass day one. We already mentioned that. Really good. Then a little Starfield trailer, which already looked fantastic, and it was like, oh man, I can't wait for the Direct. But we'll get into Starfield at the very tail end. Then a little indie game where I thought, or when they started it was going to be Everwild.
Sure.
Juicent, or I don't know how to pronounce it properly.
Kusant, I think.
From Donut, coming this fall. Looked cool. Then Still Awakes the Deep looked like a little horror game or something. Early 24, Game Pass day one from Secret Mode. Like, I think it's a Chinese developer, if I'm not mistaken.
Going to the East yet again. Looks good.
Yeah. Then my stream crashed while they were showing another indie game. So I was
Dungeons of Hinterberg. Curve Games. Dungeons of Hinterberg from Curve Games, coming 2024, also coming to Game Pass. Looks definitely very interesting. Yes, 100%.
Yeah. Then Keanu Reeves appears once again in the next.
The man, it was so good. So good.
I love that guy.
I didn't expect this at all,
me
too. Not expect it to come back on again, but I'm so glad he did.
I was expecting Idris, but I'll take Keanu, right? The biggest thing for Cyberpunk for me is I still want to know, when does the story take place, right?
Correct.
Because for those who have played through the game in totality, there's only one point in the game towards the end where they possibly could have put it. But the other thing too, because there's not a definitive ending to the game either, unless they're going to come out and say, "Oh, this is the true ending," this, that, and other thing. I would feel like that would take from the experience a bit, but it is so unique. The fact that they even wanted to do a DLC that would touch on the topic of there possibly being a cure for you. right? Because throughout the entire game, that was not an option, really. You had to work with what you had and try to live as long as you could, with Johnny constantly possibly getting ready to take over, especially towards
it's one
the
or
end.
the other. It's one or the other.
Exactly. So it's going to be really interesting to see how they fold that into the story. Whether you have to have a save point right here or whichever the case. But man, it looked crazy. Idris, my guy, is looking dope in there.
Yeah.
The world again, the over the top chaos that was going on. I can't wait to hop back into that story, man. Gosh, amazing.
Yeah.
I like it.
I can't wait either. Problem is, it's coming on 26th of September.
Yeah, same month, Starfield, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's
a problem.
It's definitely a problem. But I loved how they showed it off. They said PC footage with Xbox settings.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
And it looked, from a visual standpoint, definitely improved.
Fantastic.
Definitely improved.
Yeah.
And they've done a lot to the PC version as well. I've booted the super duper ray tracing update up on my 3080. The thing almost exploded, but it does look stunning. A beautiful game. Let me briefly shout out Tron TJ, who sends in a $5 super chat. He was on the prediction show yesterday, by the way, which was awesome. He said definitely a 10 out of 10. As for first party, otherwise a 7.5 out of 10 games. Hold the line. It was a fantastic showcase. I'm still not really sure. I need to talk with you about everything before I can put a grade on it, but it is definitely somewhere very, very up there, because it was an amazing showcase. No doubt. Dutch Cyberpunk. I know you're a big fan, man.
Yeah. I did. Again, the way they've kind of positioned this is that the story takes place by the elevator segment just before you're about to make that final decision.
Okay.
Dope. That's where
dope.
Because it
dope.
Yeah,
that's perfect.
Okay.
That's perfect.
Yep.
That's where it's positioned. So obviously, if you think about it in the story, you get to that. And I've seen a few people as well say beforehand, if you're going to start a new playthrough, wait.
Yeah.
And there's a reason for that, because of course this doesn't. If you're past that point and you've already completed it, then you know there's only two choices. But if you just get in that elevator segment, you're going to get a beep on your phone saying it's such and such. Like, I've got a new mission for you, and that's going to divert into the new expansion.
Yeah.
So when you get that option, you're going to get that to that stage, and of course, to see both Keanu return for this and then get Idris Elba in it, and he plays a prominent role as well. So it's not just like a bit part. He seems to be like well involved in the story. I'm really looking forward to it. And again, visually looked highly impressive on next gen settings on PC. So it was good to see them stipulate that on the bottom, and I'm thankful for Xbox that they did stipulate that for the vast majority of their games. Whether it be running on console, and again, with the Hellblade thing, they stipulated that was on Series X. So what we saw from Hellblade was on a Series X. And then again, saying it's PC, but it's with Xbox fidelity settings on there, so you'll know what it's like playing in fidelity mode on console. So from a visual standpoint, tremendous. Absolutely loved Cyberpunk when it came out.
Yes.
It is going to be a massive issue trying to fit it in with Starfield.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
My God.
I think that's a general problem, and Pshiki in the chat says it as well. He said, great showcase, don't know how to find the time to play all those great games.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's the problem we all have here.
I'm actually really sad.
Yeah, you got to choose over your kids, man.
I don't think I'm going to be able to. I'm not going to be able to. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I don't know. I don't know. 300 hours in my first single playthrough of Cyberpunk, and I want to go back, but man, I'm going to be so far into space by that point.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can pull myself away. I don't know.
I don't know either. I have no idea how to handle it. We have to figure it out, because then we have also a couple of other games coming in October as well. It's like
I'll be
bonkers.
deep.
So
Goodness.
City Skylines 2, October 24th, coming to Game Pass day 1.
Yep.
I know Dron TJ in the chat is probably excited about that. Man, and it looked fantastic. It looked fantastic.
It does.
So
it's a city builder, right? If you're
Yes.
into city builders, City Skylines is amazing, and they, again, with City Skylines 2, it just looks like they've listened to the community, they've gone back, they've redone, upgraded a lot of different systems to that game. It just looks spectacular. If you're into city builders, I enjoyed. It's addicting for me watching my city grow as I expanded out, and then they made it look like they made the tools even easier to use now, so you can city plan, so you don't get a very convoluted looking, terrible looking city that you just threw together like some kids made it. Now it looks like you can do this professional, and I know they've had tools, and modders have definitely helped on the PC side, but it looks like they're putting it all into one package here, and that it's coming to Game Pass. Again, more discoverability. Go try it out, no risk. Find out if you like city builders. You might not know, you might enjoy it. So yeah, great stuff.
Indeed. Then we have the third big Atlas game, Metaphor,
Huge,
coming in 2024, and then still Stoic Project Belfry was revealed. It's a hack and slash, Towerborn, it's called, coming in 24 from Stoic. It reminded me a little bit of Turtles. I'm not sure, but it's I don't know really what it is. What did you think?
We were saying on our side that I forgot who said it, was either Mav or Jasper that ended up saying it, but it reminded us of Castle Crashers in some ways. I believe that's the game that was of that art style. It was a 4-player co-op. Game is dope. I like that concept of game, and I mean, you could say Turtles too. Turtles you could throw right on in there because it is of that echelon or of those roots, right? And it looks like it could be a fun game. I can't recall if that game was that game coming to Game Pass?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's published by Xbox Game Studios.
Yep.
So with it coming to Game Pass, I mean, even if you aren't of that style, Castle Crash was super popular, like uber popular. And I think that this could be another one as long as they got a good loot system in it, a good rotation in there, keeps it extremely interesting. That's probably my main turnoff about the most recent Turtles game, is that there just wasn't enough content there, and they got content coming now, but it's been some time, so it's like you're kind of removed from it now. So hopefully that kind of fills that void for people who are interested in that. I think it's pretty dope. So
Sweet. Next game, Dutch. I was getting goosebumps, man. In Exile. They've shown in-game footage. Finally, it was confirmed. The rumors of the steampunk setting came true. Very colorful again. Xbox has some colorful games now, and with Avowed being really colorful, with the Exile game, Clockwork Revolution, it's called. Very colorful, and the Compulsion game, South of Midnight, also having vibrant colors. But yeah, it looked really cool. First person, think some time travel mechanics in there. Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, immediately when I seen it, I thought BioShock.
Yeah,
that's just immediately BioShock.
Yeah, definitely getting these vibes. Yeah,
it looked fantastic. Super quirky story, really impressive looking visuals again, and a different type of art style. And that's one thing that I loved about this showcase today, is that there was nothing looked the same. Even things that were kind of in the same genre didn't look the same as another one. Didn't look the same as the Compulsion game. It didn't look the same as Hellblade. Didn't look the same as Avowed. Didn't look the same as none of the game. Didn't look anywhere near the same as Fable, which was more realistic, which we didn't expect. It just the art styles and everything is so vastly different, and I just love that creativity from the studios. There is truly something for everybody on that showcase, and for BioShock fans, I think this one looks to be in that kind of same genre. It's a quirky, weird, wonderful steampunk world. Really interesting characters, and I think it's going to be a very interesting story, and really, really looking forward to seeing more of that.
Yeah. Next Exile have always been amazing with their RPG systems.
Yeah.
So
Exile is an upcoming studio, right? This
Yeah.
is another team. Again, people don't realize how much writing talent, how much world building talent, how much RPG talent that Xbox truly has, because they dismissed a lot of these smaller studios or studios that made games that weren't for everybody, like the top-down strategy type, older school CRPG style that Exile did with Wasteland. But a lot of people skipped it because that's just not their game, not the way they like to play. So people never got to experience what their writing is, what their RPG mechanics are like. One of the best, and now yet again, we have another example, like I said before, of a studio that Xbox is building up and all of a sudden is breaking out of their comfort zone and doing a game bigger than they've ever done before, and yet they all have that talent in-house to do this. So they've got all the majority of stuff that you need for a game like this. They just have to pull it off in first person. They just have to show that they can build that way. They can build worlds that way. But all the writing, all the character development is going to be top notch. Exile has a team of experienced devs that are going to be able to finally show off what they can do to the rest of the world with a big game that more people are going to sit up and take notice of. Exile is going to become a household name as well as part of that RPG group of devs that Xbox now owns. Incredible. Look fantastic.
Absolutely. And by the way, they have the most funniest community
Social
manager.
media.
Yeah.
Their social media team. Yeah, incredible.
It's like, Steel, you want to add something?
No, at least on that one, I don't have too much to add.
Right.
I mean, they pretty much knocked it out of the park for me on that one.
All
I
right.
want to reiterate it.
So then something weird happened. Honestly, something I did not expect, and that was Phil coming out. He summarized the show. Yeah, he explained, okay, we had 11 first-party games out there. He was wearing a Hexen t-shirt. I don't know if anyone noticed.
Oh, yeah, we noticed, sir.
Oh.
Yes, we did. That's an Activision IP, everybody. Just so you know.
Yeah, indeed. I think a little statement right there. The Hexen shirt from Phil. That would be so cool if they bring that back.
Ladies and gentlemen, real quick, I'm kind of breaking because system requirements for Starfield are on Steam.
Oh,
In the recommended specs are a Ryzen 5 3600X or an Intel i5 10600, 16 gigabytes of RAM, and Radeon RX 6800 XT or RTX 2080.
for the recommended specs.
And still right
an
now
SSD is required.
Yes, Steam is saying an SSD is required. We'll see.
This is one of the first games that is telling you that you have to have an SSD.
SSD.
Yep.
True.
Yep.
True.
Raising the bar.
Interesting. They're raising it. Absolutely. I mean, after that showcase, has anyone doubted that? That's pretty interesting. What was
So 60 FPS
the
truly in
GPU was
question?
a 2080 or
2080.
2080. So little bit, but not really that much more than we have in the Series X. So the Series X is somewhere at the ballpark of a 2070 Ti, I would say. So yeah, interesting.
That's that recommended specs. That's not even so. The Series X would have plenty of room to kind of play and kind of different settings and everything. So that's gonna be really dope.
We get to Starfield in a second, dude, because we are already at the end. So the Hexen shirt, obviously. Then he promised there's gonna be more consoles in store, and I sure hope they have that, because it would be so stupid if they would not be able to ride that Starfield train. Because let's be real, Starfield is a system seller. I don't know if Starfield doesn't sell systems, I don't know what will. It's so good thing to hear, and weird thing for him to address, honestly, in such a showcase. So hey, we hear the feedback. We are going to put more consoles in store. I thought that was weird, and then we got a hardware announcement of the Series S 1 terabyte edition in black. starting at 3:49 on September 1st. And that's how they ended the show. Bam! And now here's Starfield. I think we all were expecting like this one more thing, like one more game announcement. They could have used the In Exile game. Seriously, just bring out Phil, and then here's one more thing from our friends at In Exile, and bam, they would have had that moment. So I was just like, what were your thoughts on the way how they ended the show?
I personally didn't have a problem with it because I was saying yesterday, if you remember my prediction, that Starfield is basically the one more thing, right? How they had this show right back to back, like Starfield is your ender, right?
Yeah.
That's how you're going to end the whole thing because it was just instantaneous. They rolled right into Starfield. So for me, I didn't have a problem with it. Again, I didn't have a problem with the show at all. So I thought it worked tremendously, and getting Starfield for as long as we did, as much as we did, really is. Nobody was, sure, people would still talk about the just one more thing, but really nobody would have remembered that as just the one more thing. They're just going to remember Starfield going for 40 plus minutes. Like that was the thing for me. So I had zero problem with it.
Yeah, I didn't have a problem either.
Okay, that's you also cool with it.
Kind of the way he said, and then we're going to have one more thing. Now to see the Starfield, it was like,
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
like, well, there wasn't really a one more thing. We knew it was there, so it wasn't a one more thing. It was kind of we knew it was transition was there. I kind of expected maybe a look into another one of the IPs. Maybe see Contraband, maybe see Perfect Dark, maybe see something like that. Maybe even a State of Decay 3 first look or something. As a kind of one more thing, and we discussed this before. I didn't expect a Midnight Black Series S.
Yeah, no, I wasn't expecting that either. That was crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't. Obviously, I don't need one. I've got a Fable Series S and a Hellblade Series X, so I'm golden. I don't need any more of them. But it's good to see, of course, people did want it to say that it look better instead of having it white in all black. So for those who love that aesthetic feel where it's all black and the vent kind of disappears, you're covered.
Yeah,
you're covered now. So yeah, it's didn't expect any hardware, so to get the hardware, cool. But no, I would have preferred a look at one more of their first party titles for sure.
Sure. So, but then they transitioned over into something that I thought was, I think, seriously, from the top of my head, I cannot think of anyone having explained a game better ever. The best explanation of a game I have ever seen.
Absolutely.
Besides the game itself being awesome, but the way how they explain Starfield, starting with some general in-game footage, of course, then again, the scope, 1,000 worlds. They talked a little bit about technical things like global illumination. They talked about how you can play it third, first person, the hub, the details, the objects, everything. They explained the art style. Then they went into character creations. The skill system was explained. The ship customization, the weapon customization. Then they threw in that controller and headset that is still, by the way, not available here in Germany. God damn you.
I got the controller. I grabbed the controller, so I'm good.
You had to rub it in my nose, right?
I did.
Then the planets, everything. Like
pirates. Boxenberger,
Pirates.
we get to be pirates. They confirmed it.
It's I love it. And it, you know what, Pong? I know you played just like me hundreds, if not thousands of hours of Skyrim. I have honestly no idea how many. I know that on Xbox I played around 400 hours, but then I did a full playthrough on the Switch, of course on PC with all the mods. I don't know. It's crazy. However, in Skyrim you already had that. Yeah, you could join the rebels, or you could join the established system, but then you had these side mission stories that were entire storylines. They bring that back. They've said that just more gigantic. Now I know I will be doing many different playthroughs of that game, and it's gonna consume me. It's gonna really consume me. Photo mode has been confirmed. I love that. Correct. So let's go through a couple of those things. Let us start with, did I miss it? Is it 60 or 30 FPS?
They
didn't say.
They didn't say, right?
clarify.
And didn't Phil come out at his last interview and say, okay, it's gonna be crystal clear afterwards?
Unless he means by his interview, or unless he means by the entire showcase being 4K 60.
But that's
Because
that was not the question he answered.
It's not.
Yeah, they asked specifically after the Starfield Direct, will we know if it's gonna be 60 or 30 on console? And he said yes.
Correct.
So
Right. Correct.
So we got his interview for this evening to find out whether he's going to solidify that on Giant Bomb, on whether or not that is going to be the case or what. Maybe he doesn't speak about it at all. But from what I can tell from the gameplay that was shown, again, I do think it was a familiar situation. Also, that it was Xbox Series settings. If unless I missed that, unless I'm saying that just to say it. But it looked like it was running at 60. Every bit of that gameplay, from my experience, looks like it was running at 60. Now, again, it could be another Redfall situation where it's running at 60 this entire time, and then boom, 30 FPS on release. But I gotta lean towards it. That's not the case. Hopefully, but again, to your point, Box, though, there was no clarification at the show.
At this show. Yeah, we have still Tuesday coming, like Dave Ramos says in the chat, and Fantasy said Phil said it would be confirmed this summer.
Their question was at the show.
Yeah. I Fanto, I do have to disagree here. It's like, but okay, we don't know yet. I do have to disagree though. I thought a lot of the gunplay they've shown looked 30 to me. So that's why I wonder where we will end up. I still can't believe that they, after what happened with Redfall, that they not going for performance mode. And if it runs at 1080 and they dial down the global illumination, it's okay. But to some degree, they will have to have a ray tracing, a performance mode in there. But yeah, other than that, what do guys take it away, Pong? I know you're sitting here. Gretchen, Starfield.
Listen, I don't even know where to begin right now. I've said the same thing so many times through all the discussions that we've had when it comes to Starfield that sometimes I feel like I know I repeat myself, but it's so important that people forget who Bethesda is, what they do when they drop a game like this. And I think this was a reminder to everybody, for everybody out there who for months and years have said, you can't get hyped because you don't know what this game is about. Guess what? You can't say that anymore. So knock it off. All right. This is Bethesda. This is what a generational type game looks like. The deep dive today, like you said, Boxenberger, showed off a vast majority of the systems in place, the mechanics in place.
Yeah.
But Todd even said there's still more that we couldn't even show you today, right? That's what Bethesda does when this A-team gets together with Todd at the helm and decides to put together a game. And again, I know they are few and far between, but that's why the games are played for 10 years. That's why the games are talked about for 10 years. That's why people run around and say they're GOATs all the time, because they are. And Starfield showed exactly what I needed to show today, except for the 60 frames thing, right? And I also said I did want to see them put it on the screen that it was running on Series X. We didn't get that. That was a couple minor things that I did want. But for me, the Bethesda fan, the Starfield hype master that I have been ever since we started finding out about this game, this was the moment that I've been waiting for. And Todd did not disappoint. The team did not disappoint. The way that they broke down all these systems throughout this video was a master class on how to do this type of introduction to a game of this scope.
Yeah.
There are very few games that come along that should warrant this type of breakdown from devs, but Starfield is one of them. And again, I just felt overwhelmed the entire time because my mind was racing every scene, every planet, every new mechanic that they were showing off. My mind was already going, what are you going to do with this? Where are you going to go? What are you going to see? What are you going to explore? And they reiterated, which was important, Boxenberger, that they reiterated the fact that this is a Bethesda RPG through and through. And in fact, they're going back to the older style RPGs that a lot of people felt they lost their way with Fallout 4, that it didn't feel so impactful with the decisions, that your conversations didn't matter as much as they used to. The fact that they poured so much time into referencing back to, hey, this is our RPG systems through and through. We are making this game just like we always have with our titles. And just because we've got 1,000 planets, don't think that you're not going to still have that exploration feeling. Don't think that you're going to land on every planet and they're all going to be barren. You get to scan them up front. And you get to tell.
Dope. They got that from Mass Effect,
crazy
which is
good.
super dope.
Yeah.
That's exactly
awesome.
what I was thinking.
It's awesome. They showed that off where you could scan the planet and figure out whether or not you really want to land on that planet. But if there was a planet that wasn't just there for resources, they showed that they're going to have those random caves. They're going to have those random abandoned space stations. You might come across a random NPC that might have a whole new story for you, Boxenberger. And with freaking over 1,000 planets, the chances of you and I running into the same NPC anywhere out there in the universe, probably slim to none, sir. We're probably going to have totally different stories to tell.
If we do, the planets will look different that we run into because they are procedurally generated. How awesome is that?
How awesome is that? And I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up the big thing that I've been asking, and I still have more questions, but they answered so many today because it's a pirate's life for me. I'm not talking about just joining the pirate faction. I'm talking about being able to spend days of my life in the real world, sitting here pirating things out in space, pirating ships, and I can board those ships if I want to. And I can go ahead and kill the entire crew and take their ship. This is awesome. And they confirmed that you're going to be able to smuggle goods if you want to, which means if you want to live the trader's life, if you want to live the smuggler's life, and that's all you want to do in Starfield, you can spend hundreds of hours smuggling or trading goods. This is what Bethesda brings to the table that so many people have tried to replicate, but so few have come close to what can be done in a Bethesda game. This is what makes them special. I have already, I was talking about it when we ended the show of our Fun Speculations channel. I'm not going to be seeing the main mission ever. Like I'm already looking at this going, this is going to be Skyrim all over again, where I get through the main first couple missions, I get out into the open world, and then I'm gone on my own, and I'm off discovering whatever I want to discover. And that's going to be hundreds of hours, if not thousands of hours of content right here for me before I ever think about going back to the main storyline, unless I really, really want to. And Box, did you and everybody here, did you guys pick up how they cut how they cut everything off?
Yes.
You're going to have powers in this game.
Yes.
What?
The Force. What is that?
What the Force?
That was dope.
What? The fact. And again, let's talk about little tiny details that they're doing here. The fact that they're including the physics of anti-gravity. When you are in anti-gravity and you shoot a normal weapon, it will move you. It will push you around versus an electromagnetic weapon, which they showed off, or versus a laser gun. listen, the fact that they're going to this level of detail, this is what I expected out of Todd and this team. And I could sit here and talk. I could sit here and just babble on and on about all the stuff I saw. But they showed off all the different kinds of worlds, which I asked for. They showed off all the different kind of life you're going to come across,
Yes.
which looks absolutely crazy and insane. They showed off much improved combat here and animations.
Combat looked so satisfying. Really, like
It looked punchy.
impactful. Yeah.
Yes, and they had the punch. You can upgrade your punch so you
That
can
too.
just go punch everybody around.
too.
And
That
it
was so
looked,
funny.
and compared to Creation Engine 1.0, it looked a whole lot better than anything before with the melee.
It was like at the very beginning of this show, they said, okay, with this guy, Todd said, well, we have a real-time global illumination. I was like, oh, sweet. We're going for an massive open world game with ray trace real-time global illumination. And then a little later, they explained how it works. It is not like this artificial that the sky is illuminated. No. That's not how we roll there. They simulate the light coming from the actual suns and moons through the atmosphere onto the planet.
Whatever type of atmosphere the planet has will affect the lighting as well. It's mind-boggling. Again, now we know why they've been working on this game for so long. Now we understand, and again, that's what I said I didn't need to see it because I already understood. But for the people out there who still question this game or who said, "Oh, it's just going to be another No Man's Sky."
Yeah.
Listen, all.
I played No Man's Sky recently, and I'm here to tell you that everything that I've seen looks, again, not saying that they definitely took elements from these different games. I saw some Mass Effect in there. I saw some No Man's Sky in there. I saw so many different elements from other space games that have been in existence, but only Bethesda creates the level of detail and the level of vastness. Again, I'm somebody that tried to play Skyrim with all the mods, and I kept having issues. I can't get past the first 10 hours of the game. I just can't. But I keep thinking about wanting to jump back in that world so I can continue that experience. But it's going to be a life sucker for me. Now I got Starfield, something that is much more appealing to me as somebody who is a fan of space, especially when you really grounded in the fact that this is humanity looking and trying to discover what else is going to be out there, right? With the alien artifacts that they put in there, again, with the force powers that they put in there. It's like, how do you get that? Is that from you touching the alien tech or whatever the case may be?
Yeah,
like,
probably.
That adds a whole nother level of depth to the game outside of the traversal, outside of, guys, I thought this was dope. In the ship, outside of customization and all of that, on the fly, you can adjust how your ship works.
The power
more
levels.
engine power, more shields, more whatever you need to adjust to.
And it also affects the inside. Yeah, you have the different spaces for your crew and everything.
Correct. Storage. How much storage you can
For your cargo and so on. Yeah.
And we didn't just get. And the other thing that just popped in my head while Steve was talking real quick is the space battles. It's not just one-on-one ships or two-on-one ships. They had gigantic fleet battles going on with stuff flying everywhere. And
I literally said, "Holy shit!" when that came out.
Yes.
I was like, "Whoa, that looks like you're gonna struggle."
Oh my! Again, the sandbox effect was in full display here, and people don't. If you haven't experienced Bethesda games, I understand why you don't understand what that means. Other games have done sandbox worlds. It's happened. People have tried to do this. Some pull it off very well. But again, Bethesda, the masters of this, show up. And it's like on a whole nother level. Again, the funny part when the girl was talking about she had this thing where she stole the sandwiches from every ship that she pirated. That was awesome. And she had that big pile of sandwiches. How many times have we seen that in Skyrim, right? People collecting things. It's just a different level when you get to this team and what they can pull off because they've been working together for so long and they've got this formula that they just go back to, refine over and over again, and now we're at a technical state with the hardware that they can do what their visions always have wanted them to do. And that's why Todd waited on this game for 25 plus years, because it just wasn't technically possible to pull off his full vision. Here we are today, and we're in, again, I'm firm belief. I don't care what the reviews come out like. I don't care what anybody says. This will go down as another generational IP for Bethesda, for Todd Howard, and it will be talked about for the next 10, 20 years, and we'll be waiting on Starfield 2 at some point, because this is going to be a new IP that they put right into that rotation. I can't wait. I could go on and on. I'm sorry. Everybody else has got to talk, though. I just keep going with everything I saw.
Sure. Dutch, what did you think? I know you're a big fan as well. Bethesda is near and dear to your heart. And I know we have been talking a lot over the last year as to how good Starfield looks. And we always said it looks good. It is not looking like a technical masterpiece. But seriously, when we saw this today, the improvements they've made from the last showing to this one. Yeah. Right.
They changed that entirely today. Like, from the vistas, like the huge open vistas, to the hyper detail they've got on the environments. Like, it is absolutely a step up. And I said it multiple times when we saw the showcase. Like, this is far and away the most impressive, detailed visually that Bethesda's ever put out, by far. From their own studios, I think the only ones that stand above them are id Tech. Aside from id Tech, Starfield, from a visual and from a landscape perspective, from the vast arrays of different areas you go to, it just looked absolutely stunning. And we were so, like, we all fist pumped when they announced the photo mode, because we're just like,
yes,
it needs it. It absolutely needs it in this game. Like, some of those, like, vistas where you see, like, the stars and the different huge planets with the rings around them and everything in the background, and you're just like, it needs to kind of to spam the photo mode on that. And but saying that, outside of visual step up compared to what we even saw last time, we all thought it looked good, but visually it's definitely, the extra time is obviously helped, because it looks another step up again visually. But on a combat front, it looks very punchy, very fun. We noticed with a jetpack, that just adds another layer of awesomeness to the game. It's just, you almost feel like flying. You can kind of fly around a bit and throw bombs down on people and then shoot them and jump in. And it just, honestly, it was seriously impressed from start to finish. I did not expect to be that hyped for Starfield. I've been trying to kind of keep it back a little bit and just think, let's see. But then every time they show it, I'm like, oh God, I'm going to lose my life to this game. From the shipbuilding, which is just extensive to say the least, to the base building, which is extensive, the character creation, which is extensive. Like I say, everyone's worlds aren't even the same. So my game is definitely not going to be what your game is, because all the planets are completely randomly generated. They have the same stories, but not necessarily in the same places. And those buildings or settlements are not necessarily in the same areas of the planets that you visit. And the planets aren't even the same anyway. So no one's going to be playing the same Starfield. Like, we're all going to be playing the same game overall, but no one's going to play the same Starfield, because everyone's going to have a different generated world and every planet that they visit. So, yeah, and the stories, obviously, because of that, aren't going to go the same way, because one person might have to go to a dungeon to do X, Y, and Z, but that dungeon hasn't populated on someone else's game, and instead they've got a mountain. So it's like, to see the difference that it's going to be for everybody.
Making video guides is going to be hard in this game.
It's going to be impossible. Absolutely impossible. I don't think it's going to be one of those games, and I've seen a few people say that from these guide creators. It's going to be one of those games where it's you can't do it, because it's a randomly generated game. So they're going to say, okay, well, we'll give you guides on some of the basics, like builds or classes or creating craft or bases or things like that. But I think they're going to just not bother doing kind of some of the side quest and story mode stuff, because it's going to be difficult, if not impossible. But oh God, goodbye life. And I seen a graphic as well by Shinobi, and I didn't want to read it. He just detailed all the games coming September, October, and dear God, this is going to be such a hard thing to deal with. Don't know how we're going to manage it. Starfield is. The more I saw of that game, the more it made me think, I don't know when we're going to finish that game, if ever.
Yeah.
Like, I can't see the end to that game. Like, it doesn't seem like there's there's an end to the story, but it doesn't feel like it. It doesn't feel like that game ever ends. Just keep going.
We were during the live stream. We were at some point. I don't know if it was you or Mick who said it. Like, it would be probably easier to explain what this game doesn't have included, because it has everything from base building to, like, it's insane.
True.
Yeah. But sorry that I cut you off.
Oh man, my fault. Yeah, go ahead. Damn.
No, it's all right. But no, I'm seriously looking forward to this now. It's going to take up all of my life. I am going to spend unbelievable amounts of hours trying to create the spaceship of my dreams to then fight
Normandy
in
for
space,
me.
like
Absolutely.
Star Wars.
How about when they showed off Optimus Prime ship? What?
Yeah.
What? You created like a mech-looking ship. I'm always, what? What is this?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's gonna be insane. There's so many. That's the thing. Like, it's between. I keep forgetting the name of that horror film in space as well.
Deep.
Oh, you're no. You're talking about
Event
I got the
Horizon.
cover. Yeah, Event
Yeah.
Horizon. Yeah.
I'm probably going to end up trying to create Event Horizon. I don't know how I'm going to manage that, but I'm definitely going to try.
Nice. That's a good one. Dave Ramos adds to our concern of not being able to finish this game with a super chat. Yes. Thank you, man, for the support. He says Starfield is also ripe for mods and DLC for years.
And,
the mod
they already confirmed one DLC.
And the DLC, one story DLC is already confirmed. Yeah.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. And then the mods, like the mods are going to be. I mean, there's nothing that's going to be impossible in this game once the mods get hold of it. Like, it's an open palette for everybody. There's going to be so much content. Now that I have a PC that can actually run this stuff, I can't wait. Like, I'm super excited for mods now. So, and I hope the console version gets some mods too. I hope they do a nice improvement there as well.
Of course,
so.
yeah.
Sorry, Steel. I keep jumping in. You should go, Steel.
No.
You lost your power when we got to Starfield, so I haven't even heard your like real feelings on Starfield. Because you weren't there, so go ahead.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I was trying to fight through the frustration too, and I was just like, I was still watching it though, man, and it was just like on every level of it again. Especially as somebody who typically, when I play these types of games, and the way that I play single player games is the way that I play games overall is that I put myself in those worlds and I just get lost in them, right? The biggest example that I could use is Cyberpunk, right? You have that story, right? You have all those missions, and the biggest comparison that I can use is Pong put 300 hours, I put 50 hours in, and I feel like our experiences are extremely comparable as far as how much we love the entire game. And I don't intentionally try to do certain things or try to complete or whatever. I do whatever the game kind of influences me to do right in that moment. And I also only play games once. Typically, right? It is extremely rare for me to go back through a game. So Starfield, for me, again, to be the Han Solo simulator, to be the the space game that is more grounded in reality, right? It says all the right things that interest me, and also to see the step up that they've made, not only in character creation, but just overall character development. From what I can tell, no matter what character that you run into, except for a few scenes that I know are going to end up getting clipped out because some of the NPCs were kind of flat faced and the detail was missing. And again, I wasn't expecting the game to be perfect, and it's like, for me, I'll say it again. I am not the Bethesda fan, but I do understand at a technical level what they do in gaming, and nobody does what they do. as far as give you an adventure that is not really comparable to anybody else. You open up a conversation that is going to be different from other people, like you and like Pong and Dutch were kind of talking about, going back and forth about, and yourself, Box, and just the interest of that. Again, the pirateering, it's like I'm gonna be doing a mixture of different things, man. Like the shipbuilding, that's gonna be the main thing. That's gonna be my home base. I gotta make it look like the Millennium Falcon if I can, the best way possible. That's gonna be my main focus. I got, or some big X fighter or something. That's going to be my main focus. You know me, I'm a cosmetic guy, so you already know whatever I got to do to get the best looking armor in the game. That's what I'm doing, right? So I'm going to.
How about that all black armor? Did you see that all black armor?
Yeah.
Oh, buddy,
look delicious. I still want that armor that we got some concept art for. Apparently that was leaked. I want that, but I'm excited. I'm excited about Starfield because it literally it showed me why I needed to be interested in the game, right? On a multitude of different levels, and I cannot wait to get just lost in the solar systems multiple. So
yeah,
it's gonna be interesting. I'm excited.
Absolutely.
You know, and one thing I got to bring up too, boxing. I'm gonna let you go, brother. But Enon Zur's music in the background throughout this entire thing. My God, how perfect. This soundtrack, Enon Zur is going to pull this soundtrack. They always come with the great music, no matter who's composing it. But Enon Zur here, I think, is going to nail the feel of sci-fi. Everything I've heard previously that they kind of released and obviously let us hear. But then watching this trailer, and I was so engrossed in what was going on the screen that I had to pay attention to the music. But when I paid attention to the music, I'm like, oh my God, this is perfect. This fits everything about this game.
Does.
The
whole thing.
It does. By the way, good news. I just pre-ordered the Starfield controller.
Ooh! Oh,
got it.
Yes. That I didn't mention too, though.
Yeah, I can't believe you can get it as soon as June the 13th.
Oh,
so
damn. That's
yeah, but you have to pay
out,
for express delivery. I did not do that, so I'm gonna get it on Wednesday, 14th.
I'm gonna have to hope it's still available at the end of the month. I do not have that money. Yep.
That's fair.
We'll make that work, Dutch. We'll make that work.
The only other thing that I kind of missed that I didn't speak on was the combat. The combat felt exactly the way that I needed to feel. Once they pulled out that third-person camera, dude was moving around the jetpack, and he was still getting the shots in, and it felt punchy. It felt good, and that's the main thing that pulls me into games is the feeling when I'm playing. That I have full control. The guns feel reasonable, and again, I'm just so excited to go on that Starfield adventure.
And awesome. Box, how about the UI? How about how clean the UI is and how
and the skill tree, like on point. Exactly.
Simple, easy to understand. It seems
with complex, with a lot of stuff going on. It was still simple. The UI when you pulled up and scanned the planets looked perfect. Oh,
perfect. I love that because people underestimate how important a clean UI in such a game is, because the game itself, with all its mechanics, with doing the resourcing, doing the crafting, doing the base building, doing the trading system, the mining system, and everything, on top of leveling all the different skills. And they have shown this vast skill trees and the weapon enhancements, the mods you can apply to those, and so on. The game itself, and that's only your character, the same craziness as for the ship. And so the game itself is so complex. And if you have a proper UI where you are happy to navigate and know exactly what you do, what you get when you click here or choose this skill or mine that resource, is so important for such a game. And it looked fantastic. They have outdone themselves with the UI from the things we've seen so far. Also, the HUD looks super clean, not cluttered or anything. Everything is where it's supposed to be. You have the infos you need and not more. And I love it. I absolutely love it. Quick question to you guys. Third person or first person?
It's a mix from me. I'm going to be playing some segments in third. And when we get into the combat, I'm switching to first. it looks like it's going to be an on-the-fly type of situation where you're able to just maybe click in the right stick.
Yeah.
And you're gonna
They showed that it
Yeah.
was flawless. Great, yeah.
So if that's the case, then yeah, when I'm exploring and traversing the planet, it's going to be third person. When I'm in that tight combat gameplay, that's going to pop straight into first person. Yeah, it's going to be mixture for me. Definitely.
I thought the exact same thing. Like, okay, traversal through cities, through landscapes, third person looks so cool. For the first time in a Bethesda game, the third person, you had that option to go back and forth already in Skyrim, if you remember, but it sucked ass to play in third person. Nobody played it in third person. This time it looked actually really good, and but then the combat. I don't know if the combat is gonna hit, and I'm probably too lazy to switch back and forth, even if it's just a press of a button. But where do you stand with it, Pong?
I will probably also be a mix. I've played the vast majority of Bethesda titles in first person. Right?
Yeah.
That's the normal way I play it. And it wasn't that I had a problem with the third person. I just felt more comfortable in first person. I think with this one, after playing, because I went back and started replaying Mass Effect Andromeda and playing in third person again, I kind of got used to that. So we'll see how the combat feels. What I can see right now is I'll be first person in close quarter tight combat or in tight situations like inside space stations, inside, like you said, cities or inside a ship or whatever the case may be. That I can see myself going back to first person. Out in the world traversal, I think I will do more third person this time around. If the combat works in third person as well as it looks like it does, I can see myself spending more time in third person because I do like to see my character, especially with the customization options. I really do enjoy that.
Yeah, same here.
It'll be a mix.
Yeah, we shall see. I will definitely check out both, of course, and just see what feels natural.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It steals third person through and through. So if he's not there, I don't know if he's there or not. He's on mute, so I don't.
Yeah, I'm back. Wife just got
back. Okay.
All right. So,
answer
first person.
Third person is going to be 100% all the way through and through. That was one of the most influential things for this. If it would have been first person only, I probably would have skipped over it, to be quite frank. It's that I'm that picky about it, unfortunately. But yeah, third person is going to be the complete flavor. I'm never going to change it. That's going to be the experience that I'm going for.
Yeah.
I was just watching a space combat. How about when they said that if you can get a skill, you can target individual areas on a ship and disable it? Oh
That was
my god!
And then board and board on the ships.
Board and pirate it.
That was
Take it.
so cool. Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's gonna be
Fox,
so awesome.
we're gonna be thousands of hours.
Oh.
Thousands of hours.
Facts, yeah, indeed. Cord Wayner in the chat says they seem to hint at some sort of force push power at the end.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes. They cut it right there too. In Todd fashion, they cut it off.
You know what they also cut?
It.
I had to laugh out really loud when they did that. Was like they've shown these. I don't know, these kind of special skills where you have like your fan, your groupie that is following you around. The super fan. And then you can get rid of him, but then they find a gun at the back of his head and cut.
Jasper said that during our podcast. Jasper said that during the show. He's like, because I said, the super fan's back. And he's like, yeah, but you could shoot him. It's a Bethesda game. Yeah. And sure enough, they went to that scene and we were dying laughing. It's awesome.
It is awesome. You know what else? I don't know if any one of you picked that up, but they mentioned during the segment where they explained wildlife on planets that they don't want to go for big alien monsters, but for like wildlife, how it could actually be in different on different planets.
Yes,
and then they mentioned, but of course. We also want the aliens to be scary, and there will be scary segments, and we have seen different snippets of gameplay where you are in those dark, areas, bases, flickering lights, and then you shoot like a gigantic monster that's jumping on you, and then they always cut away from that. But I feel like maybe with some of the exploration you can do in dark caves or in, I don't know, old bases or whatever, have like a little like a horror element to it, I don't want to say it's a horror game per se, but you know what I mean? Did anyone else get that feeling, or was it just me?
Yeah, I think they're going to have those segments that do bring some of that horror in. I think that based on the fact that they grounded this game, right, and that they are using more realistic graphics in this one, and they get to those dark points. Listen, Skyrim even had some moments like that, right? When you were going through I always call them dwarves because that's what I know them as, because that's whatever. When you're going through some of their cave systems that they had underneath their fortresses and that kind of stuff, you would get in those moments where it got a little creepy, or a skeleton would pop out of one of the coffins or whatever. So I think that this one is definitely going to have some of that to it as well, and I've seen that in trailers as well, Boxenberger. So I'm not a horror fan, but I'm all for it in a game like this. That's fine. I got laser guns, I got grenades. We're good.
There we go. If I just think about how much I messed around with the skill system in Skyrim, like, and they expanded this skill system. This alone will cost me. I'm always, when I play RPGs, it's by the way also the way I play Diablo. I always try to break the RPG system and find the perfect combination to feel like this god, you know. Right. And I have in Diablo. I have right now my sorcerer. I messed a lot around with which skills do I use and what not, and I think I found, as of right now, the perfect combination. I mean, I'm not at that level where builds really come in, where you have like, okay, I keep this helmet forever because it has this and this ability that I can combine with something in my gloves, and that aligns with this. I'm not that far. That's gonna come in the end game, but right now, I feel like, okay, I found the combination for the sorcerer. That's what I love, and that's how I'm gonna play Starfield as well, where I will play around to get like the best character out of this, and I cannot wait. It's so. But gentlemen, we've been on this show for almost 2.5 hours now. We've discussed a lot. To wrap this up, besides Starfield, I think Starfield is really, I think we all agree there, right? Starfield surprised us. We knew it was gonna be good.
Right.
But I think we are all surprised by how good it really looked and is. So besides Starfield, what were your highlights of this show? What are your takeaways? What do you think you will remember in like 6 months? When we remember back, we always just remember the 3, 4, 5 big things for us. What was that for you, Dutch? What were your highlights of this show?
Jeez, that's a question. Definitely Fable, 100% Fable. Yeah. Really great showing from that. I don't think, I mean, Hellblade looks great, but I don't think Hellblade stood out to me. As much as I'm looking forward to Hellblade, I think they could have showed more, but we'll see what happens on Tuesday. So Fable's one of them. The In Exile and Compulsion games, absolutely. Both from completely different angles. Loved the different graphical styles of those and how they were both entirely different universes that we haven't played before. Yeah. Naturally, Starfield just blew the doors off. Oh, yeah. That's going to absolutely stick in my mind. Those 4 titles are the big standouts for me, without doubt. Yeah, Fable, Compulsion, in Exiles games, and Starfield. Nice. They're the big shows for me.
Nice. Before we give our score for the show, Steel, what were your highlights and takeaways here?
Oh, I'm gonna stick with 3 just to make it difficult for myself. But I'm gonna try to be a little bit different because, of course, Fable's gonna be in there. But I'm gonna go with Star Wars Outlaws. That's gonna be the one that I'm gonna be thinking about for some time. Path of the Goddess, and then I'm gonna wrap it up for my last one. Because there's some of these games are coming out kind of soon or pretty much soon. Like I could throw Forza in there, but that's going to happen anyway. That's so very soon. Starfield's kind of a guaranteed, and we just kind of all melted over it here in this conversation. I think another one that I'm going to go on a limb and just kind of put it out there, I'm gonna say Dungeons of Hinterberg, just because it was different, and it also had a combat style that I tend to favor. And for a game that I wasn't aware of, wasn't expecting, and had some elements in there that really spoke to me, especially on an adventurer standpoint. Not everything has to be hyper realistic. Not everything has to have the best graphics in the world. But sometimes just having a good game that you never expected, that has you think a little bit about, man, what is that game truly going to be? What's that experience going to be like? So those would be my three.
Sweet. Great picks. Pong, where do you land?
I've only got Starfield on my mind forever. That's all that's in there. That's all I got room for. No, I think the first party stuff in general. The first party showed up today, and I think I'm honestly going to remember all of them because they all stood out in some form or fashion. The fact that we saw Compulsion finally, the fact that we got to see it in Exile, and sure, no, was it gameplay? Was it everything? No, of course not. But the fact that they've been in the works for so long and all we had was code names, big impressions out the gate. These weren't games that mix in with everything else. I think it was Dutch earlier talking about how diverse the games were and how nothing looked the same. Though they all stood on their own because they were all different from each other. And I think that's a huge step forward. I've seen some people complaining that a lot of these showcases this year, the games all look the same. Well, the one thing I can say about Xbox Showcase, none of the games look the same, right? None of them. They were all
very little Unreal too.
Right.
That's the other thing, right?
Exactly. And so I definitely think that stood out for me, the first parties in that direction. But obviously Fable starting off the show like I thought it would, and then like I said, knowing a little bit behind the scenes with like 3-bit being involved in it and just having this, high regard for Playground. And saying time and time again, listen, I love when developers come out of their comfort zone and try to do something completely different from what they've done in the past. It doesn't always work. We just saw that with Redfall, right? It doesn't always hit. The Playground going from an open world car PG to an open world Western RPG with British humor that is beloved, that already has an IP that has been out there, that's been dormant now for years and years and years, to show up the first time and show it off the way that they did with in-game footage. And again, folks, the devs themselves from Playground are out here showing screenshots, in-game footage. This was real. You may not want to believe it, but this was real. For them to show up this way and to give us that slice of what we saw of both in actual gameplay mixed with other cinematics, with narrative, whatever you want to call it, was phenomenal. And Playground knocked it out of the park. So I'm going to remember Fable for a long time as well. And the third party showings, like Steele said, Star Wars, absolutely up there, of course, because I'm looking forward to that. Persona, even though we got that reveal, unfortunately, prior to the show, it doesn't matter. The fact that Atlas is so deep in here and bringing us a brand new game, that one's going to stand out because I'm going to be looking forward to seeing what that's all about. And, of course, CD Projekt Red with Phantom Liberty. Again, Cyberpunk 2077 is top 10 game all time for me. People don't believe me because so many people have hated on that game. It's top 10 for all time for me. It might even be top 5. I love Cyberpunk, so that, again, Idris, the acting, I just can't wait to jump into that. I'm sad it's in September when I'm going to be in space, but that's all right. I'm still excited for it, and it looks great, and I'm going to remember that one for sure.
Oh yeah. So I'm a little surprised that Dutch didn't mention the flight sim later, but
it's again, as much as I love flight sim and it impressed visually, it's not one that would stand out.
So for me, definitely Fable, for all the reason you guys mentioned. Big fan of the original trilogy. I think actually I've always been a multi-platform guy. I've always had all the consoles. I had, during the 360 and OG generation, I had the PS2 and PS3. And I think Fable was really the IP that made me a main Xbox gamer. I freaking loved that IP. I even liked the third one. People hate on the third one, but I
liked the third one too. Yeah, it's a really good game.
Especially in couch co-op, that game was so much fun. So much fun.
I played it with the wife. Oh my god, it was a great game.
Yeah. So Yeah, Fable definitely. And then of course, I want to say Compulsion, but I have no idea what that game is. So, no, Star Wars definitely is big Star Wars fan and a big surprise because I did not expect that. And then Avowed, of course. Avowed is cannot wait. I love Obsidian, and it surprised me by how colorful it is. I thought it would be a little bit more darker and more grittier, but I love what I've seen. It looked really really good. And Hellblade, Dutch, I'm with you. Obviously, we knew that it looked this good. That's the thing, and we have not seen the things we wanted to see from Hellblade. So, I cannot wait for Tuesday. Yeah, still one of my most anticipated games, no doubt. But it's the In Exile game really stood out. Looked Clockwork Revolution looked really fun to play. So I think those are the four that will stick with me. Besides Starfield, of course, Pong. Besides Starfield, no doubt. And I honestly, you know what I was thinking during the entire Starfield showing. I was like, man, now I need the Rock Ally. Because I will be traveling in the second half of this year so much. And I can't pull myself away from that game. So it's probably I have to pull the trigger now. I don't know. But so now to wrap the show up, let us see how did our community rate this showcase. I put up a poll in the chat in case you haven't voted. I'm gonna leave it up for a few more seconds. We have more than 200 votes, 208 votes at this moment. And with that, I'm probably going to close it so that I can better read the results there. So 43% voted 10 out of 10, and 41% voted a 9 out of 10. That makes 84% gave it a 9 or higher, which is absolutely bonkers. Another 9% said it's an 8 out of 10, and only 5% voted for a lower score.
You know what's interesting, Box, there? It almost lines up with Keeley. Keeley did a poll, and you know him. 90,000 votes.
Yeah.
54% an A, 28.5% a B. So almost 83% was a B or higher. So lines right up. Yeah.
Lines right up. So
90,000 votes too. Yeah.
That's
no doubt.
a little bit more representative than our 200s, but I tend to prefer our 200s because those are the true. Is our fantastic community, and I love our community. We have an amazing community here, and I do truly value their opinions. Sometimes we might not agree with people, but that's what strikes up great conversations, and that's totally fine. Have different opinions, and that's what I love about our community. We can have a proper conversation even if we disagree sometimes. So shout out to our community, and we still have, by the way, more than 60 live viewers right now, and that with 2.5 hours or 2 hours and 42 minutes into the show, and with all the parallel programming. That is absolutely amazing. Shout out to you guys. Shout out to everyone who listens after the fact and made it this far. You guys are awesome. And leave your thoughts in the comments about what you thought, because we definitely wanna hear. So now, time to rate the show. Where do we summarize this thing? This time I start with Pong. I start from the other side here on the screen.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if we're 10 out of 10, it's a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
For me. Again, it started there. I could say it's 11 out of 10 and be dramatic about it. It's a 10 out of 10 for me. I can't find fault with it. There's a few tiny nitpicks here and there, sure, that I could come across, but again, if you just take it the package in totality, the way that they showed off Starfield after blowing us away with 11 first-party titles in the main showcase, plus a good amount of third-party titles, some that we had never even known were in existence yet. I got to give it a 10 out of 10. Again, I take everyone in a vacuum, so I never compare them to each other. For me, the show is as close to perfect as you can get with a 10 out of 10, for sure.
Sweet.
Yep.
Nice. Steel, where would you rate it?
I'm about there too. I'm at a 10 out of 10, mainly because again, I can't, when I pull out 11 games that I only type out games that I had genuine interest in and I'm looking forward to. Nothing to take away from any of the other games, but if I'm with being able to pull out so many, the pacing being on point, the variety of different games, this is honestly the best showcase of the year thus far. Probably
Absolutely.
the Xbox's best showcase within the last 5 years at least. For what they have shown, I think roadmap. There's some of the things that we've been wanting for some time. Hey, where are these games? Well, you get to see them, and the hype just goes up from here. The competition is going to be better than ever. I'm going to be interested to see how the other players in the industry end up trying to fit in, especially kind of knowing what's on the horizon, especially with Starfield being right around the corner. Yeah, I mean, I think the Starfield showcase by itself, the way that they displayed it, the way that they talked about it, everything that they showed, at least gave it a couple of additional extra points, even if you were a little bit on the lower inside of it, just because nobody can say now you don't know what Starfield is.
Yeah.
So, good show.
That's fair assessment. A fair assessment. Dutch, where would you rate the show and assess it?
Yes, for me, it's a 9 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to have given it a 10 out of 10, but of course, the segments in there that aren't for me.
Sure.
But that's always going to be the case.
Yeah.
The major thing that gave me a little bit of a markdown is I was expecting Hellblade to turn up with a bit more than they did.
Fair.
Naturally, it's a very impressive demo. Regardless, it is very impressive on audio and visuals. But I still need to see that. I do need to see that combat gameplay. I do need to see a little bit more of the actual fleshed out gameplay of that game. And hopefully, of course, we see it Tuesday, but we're marking it on this show. So based on the showing of this show, I do have to mark it down for Hellblade showing there.
Yeah.
And a couple of things that didn't necessarily need to be in there, but there were. But yeah, it's still an unbelievable showcase. It's by far the best showcase they've had in years, and it's such a big year ahead for Xbox with Avowed and Hellblade and Fable and Starfield and Forza and God, and that's not even including Clockwork and Midnight and Belfry, Project Belfry, of course, which was Towerborn. And all of the rest of them as well that coming inside of that. It's the Star Wars game whenever that releases. It's just like it's what an insane showing. And again, that's a big get for Xbox. We told them they needed to get that named IP. And really they got two in that showcase. They got that. They got the Lucasfilm crossover with Monkey Island. As much as people don't understand that, it's a big get again as well. That Monkey Island team and that team, big gets, another Disney get. So two huge gets there. Massive get for the Sega Atlas, brand new IP being shown off there with Capcom and the Persona stuff. So yeah, overall, as much as some of that wasn't for me, as an overall showcase, absolutely knocked it out of the park. I think there was something for everybody to enjoy on that. And even if there wasn't, I think everybody's won over by Starfield at the end. There's not one person that doesn't say Starfield doesn't look outstanding.
They're out there.
They're
starting it up already.
I'm convinced them people are fishing for likes. They'll be on that game day one.
They said PS3 animations. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
I guarantee we'll find them playing that game day one.
I think people forgot what that console generation really looked like.
Yeah. So,
what about you, Bucky?
Yeah, fair assessment. I would probably also rate it a 9 out of 10. Simply for the one reason that I try, and that's maybe a problem of myself. I look at this showcase, and from start to finish, it was cool. Of course, there are games in there that are not for me. The Atlas games. I don't care about Fallout 76 or Elder Scrolls Online. I don't play them. Doesn't mean that they are bad games. But that's not the reason why I downrate a show, except because there was also the exciting stuff in there. Yeah, Fable, Compulsion, Massive, the Star Wars game. Yeah, Avowed was in there. Flight Sim looked cool. Hellblade was there. Yeah. The Path of Godless looked great. Forza, of course. Then we have Starfield, looks phenomenal, no doubt. We have the In Exile game, Clockwork Revolution, fantastic. Yeah, list right there of games I'm genuinely excited for. My problem with Xbox is I knew Fable was coming. I knew Hellblade was coming. I knew Avowed was coming. I knew that In Exile is working on a game. And I knew that Compulsion is working on a game. And as excited as I am to see what they look like and that we got proper reveals of those games, I don't know when to play them. And I look at this generation and they have released 2 first-party games in 2.5 years that are noteworthy of mention. And that is Forza Horizon and Halo Infinite. 2 games in 2.5 years, and now we're getting Starfield this year, which I cannot wait. No doubt, we've talked about it. I will probably spend 500 plus hours in that game. I'm not a Forza guy. I'm not a sim racer guy. I will boot it up. I will play 3 races because I want to see how it looks and probably move on, unless the story mode or campaign mode really is exciting to play. But yeah, we have so many racing games. I don't want to take away from the excitement around Forza, but again, Starfield and Forza, we were supposed to be playing those last year, and I see that Xbox had nothing planned for this year. I cannot overlook that fact. And when they tell me 24 for Avowed, Fable, and Hellblade, I know that at least 2 of them will be moved out to 25. That's what their track record has been. And they have given me no reason whatsoever to not think that about them. And I know that's a problem for me, and I know I should give them more benefit of a doubt, but then I have given them that for years, and they have let me down too many times. So I'm not giving them the benefit of the doubt. I think you will see Fable not in 24. I don't know if Avowed is going to make it, Hellblade maybe. Yeah. And Dutch, you've lost.
I think Avowed will.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You've lost Avowed already a bit. Yeah, you.
But they did reiterate. They did, and again, it's always going to be proof. Proof is in the pudding. Right. You know, Box, and I agree with you. They've given you no reason, right? But we know they've got too many games not to start hitting, and so
that's
again when Phil showed eventually. Yeah, but when Phil says that he finally, again, that was the one time that he felt relieved in that interview, right? Where he said, I finally see the roadmap. I finally see the one per quarter. Yeah. Right. So I got to believe that this is the start of that. And I do agree with you. I gave him criticism, from last year. And I gave him criticism that if they didn't have anything else this year, that yes, basically all you did was push 2022 to 2023. Yeah. And he really didn't give us anything new. I gave him that criticism, but what I'm saying is if this is the start of the consistency that you're speaking on that they have been missing, if this is now the one per quarter that we've been lined up for, and it starts with Starfield and it rolls into next year, and they do hit with Hellblade 2, they do hit with Avowed, they do hit with Fable, then you got to say they're on a roll. That's fine. That's fine. I think it is.
But that's the thing. After being disappointed by Xbox for too long, Sure. They don't get the benefit of a doubt from me personally anymore. But I think again, this is my problem. That is, and I know that Phil had this confidence. I know he sees that this will end this inconsistent game releases. But then again, he also said, and I'm fully behind that, and I take him by his words, where he said, it all doesn't matter until you have the games in your hands. And I will be having
100%.
Starfield this year.
Yes.
In my hand with a big smile and hundreds of hours of gameplay. It will keep me busy to the next year, if necessary, because that's when Hellblade, Avowed, Fable are supposed to come out, and then and then when I have Hellblade in my hand and I have Avowed in my hand with playing those with a smile, they will get my benefit of a doubt back. But other than that, this was an amazing show. Again, it was like from start to finish. Maybe not all of the games were for you, but they had a great show, an amazing show. Pacing was right. The games they've shown were right. The excitement is there. That's the thing. I love that they have the excitement around their brand back, because let's be real, Xbox has been a downer for the last 1.5 years. Yeah, the whole shit with the ABK thing, and then it all went south hill. Yeah, I know. Probably eventually it's gonna get approved, but you know what I mean. Then no
right
games. Then
we
have Redfall. Then they had no games for 18 months, and then they had Redfall, and it's like Xbox has really been at its lowest. And it is so weird to say that after all we went through in 2017, 18, 19, that we are at their that they are at the lowest in 2022 and the first half of 21. But now they have achieved one thing, and that is the good thing. The excitement around their games is back. Yeah, we have amazing games to look forward to, and Starfield showed better than we all hoped for. And so the future of Xbox looks bright. I sure hope they will get their shitty-ass management in order to actually release games. Release them. Yeah?
Yeah.
And that's the thing. That's why I can't give them a 10 out of 10. If they would have had one other game, Hellblade, Avowed, I don't know, the compulsion game, whatever, ready for this year, it would have been a 10 out of 10, since they have not been able to be consistent in their game releases. It's a 9 out of 10, but still an amazing show, amazing games to look forward. And I'm glad we can finally talk about games again and not ABK. So,
yeah. Good point. Very good point.
All right, guys. So, yeah, it's been an absolute blast to have you gentlemen on here. I need to say, honestly, from the bottom of my heart, I love you guys. You know that. You two are my cooking podcast. You know that. Yeah. Because I cook dinner every Saturday, and that's exactly when you guys start to air, usually around 4 p.m. my time. Yeah, that's when I start to cook. And when I say hey in your chat, everyone is already automatically asking me, so what you cooking today? Yeah, there's Tom Tsunami and everyone, those guys. So I love what you do over there at the Living Splitscreen, and I truly appreciate the enthusiasm and the excitement you bring to the community, and the interactivity you have with the chat and your community is amazing. So thank you for coming on here today. Let people know where they can find you, because you don't have to spell out the links. They are all in the description. Yeah, just click there. You found their Twitters, you found the YouTube channel, everything. But let people know what you're working on, where they can find you, what you got coming up.
Well, the only thing we're working on is some Diablo.
Yes,
That's true. That's true.
But no, I mean, other than that, every Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. UK time, me and my brother from another Pong, so we host a non-console-centric platform that essentially covers everything going on within the gaming industry. We take the RTS approach, where we pull ourselves out of the world, we look at the darker crevices of the map, we pull those resources together so we can not only build up our own foundation, but also potentially reach those 3 billion gamers that Phil Spencer always talks about. With that, look, gentlemen, both of you guys have been key people, at least in my life, as far as podcasting and just being involved with the community. One, because your opinions are strong, and the one thing that I do value is people that stand on what they believe in, right? You stand on your opinions. You're not afraid to talk and speak out. Like Box, I mean, just like now, it's you and saying that, hey, Xbox is still not hitting that mark for me. I can appreciate that, because there's a lot of people out here who they get around certain people, or they're trying to fit in, or whatever the case may be, that kind of flip-flop and change the stories and everything else. And I respect you both, not only as gamers, but as individuals, just across the board. I am so appreciative that you even asked for us to be on here. That's nothing but love and appreciation. Boss, you're my German brother, as a half German myself. And I love everything that you bring to the community. And this showcase, man, it is just up and beyond the moon. Things can only go forward from here. People were asking for competition for a long time.
Oh, and they brought the competition. It's absolutely. Yeah.
Appreciate you guys. Much love.
Yeah. Thank you, man. Thank you for the kind words. Pog, where can people find you? You have the lengthiest outros, I know.
Yeah, I do. But I've been cutting it short, during this. I've been chopping it up for this purpose. Listen, first of all, Boxenberger and Dutch, thank you both for inviting us, as always, back into the world of gaming over here. And obviously, we, as Steele pointed out, again, big influences on us as podcasters, and just really, really positive forces in this community who continue to just do phenomenal work to get the word out, to get the news out, to talk about the passion of the industry that we all love the most. So thank you all for being here. Chat, you guys are all absolutely incredible. Vox has cultivated one of the best chats over here. It's a lot like what Steele and I try to do with Living Splitscreen. So thank you all for joining us for this long day of podcasting and talking gaming. But man, was it worth it. Xbox 100%. Came to play today. Say what you want, nitpick all you want, but they came and showed us 11 plus games. I think Phil threw up 13 games total from first party. I don't know where he's counting, but it doesn't matter. They came and they finally gave us a nice chunk of all the stuff we've been waiting on. And of course, as Box already said, as we all talked about, Starfield. Todd, you don't miss, brother, at all. This is why I love you. This is why I love your team over there. And you guys gave us exactly what we needed to see from Starfield today, and then some. And September 6th can't come soon enough. I think we're going to be talking about the showcase for quite a while, Box. I think we're going to look back at this one as the start. As we talked about, Starfield being the start of the new Xbox era in a lot of ways. I think that the showcase was the start of that. That's why I do have confidence that going forward, I think they're going to win you back, Boxenberger, and I think that they are going to show you that they've got it lined up and they've got it figured out. At least that's my belief, because I think this was the start of something special, and I think this year as a gaming year is going to go down as one of the greatest all time, if not the greatest of all time, and I think this showcase is going to be a highlight of that year as well. As when we think back, when did Xbox finally turn that corner on the content, on the consistency, and I think this might be the one right here. So thank you all for joining us. Xbox, you can find me on Xbox and Twitter. Pong Soul, you know the drill there. Otherwise, Steele, the hype man, gave it up for Living Splitscreen every Saturday morning. Listen, you can find me on PM in the PM Thursday nights, Fun Speculation, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 o'clock Central Time. Me and Mav, we host a similar show to Living Splitscreen. It's a great time there. Xbox Ultimate on Friday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central Time. And then Saturday nights after the Living Splitscreen, late Saturday night, the Shop Podcast, PTK Blam Channel. Shout out to the brother who is out in LA. He has been through some stuff recently, and this was a well-timed trip for him. He just got an autograph from Phil. I just saw he posted. Everybody out in LA is having a great time, but we do the Shop Podcast Saturday nights over on his channel, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 o'clock Central Time, every Saturday night. Listen, y'all, I've been saying this since I came into the community, and I mean this with everything I have. It is the golden age of gaming. There has been no better time to be a gamer, ever. No matter where you're playing at, there is something unbelievable to get your hands on right now. So get out there, play what you love what you play, and I'll talk to you all real soon. Thanks, Box. Thanks, Dutch.
Absolutely. Thank you so much again to the both of you for coming on and bringing the fire and the great conversations. Truly appreciate you guys. And Dutch, I mean, I think everyone on our show knows where to find you, but definitely let people know what we have lined up for the next 2 days.
Yes, still another 4 shows to go. So, not including the podcast on Wednesday. So, yeah, tomorrow we'll be covering the Ubisoft, and I'm even more excited now because we get to see a Star Wars gameplay.
Yeah, it's gonna be dope. I'm excited.
We get to see that on tomorrow. So we'll be doing live coverage there, live reaction, straight over to your channel, Boxy, for the post show.
Exactly.
And then on Tuesday, we're going to be live reacting to the extended Xbox showcase, which we know now has deep dives into Hellblade and Avowed, as well as more game reveals. So super excited for that. And then, of course, straight after that, post-show again with Boxy. And then finally, to wrap it all up, full breakdown of every Xbox and Ubi and the Xbox main show on Wednesday for the podcast. So busy few days. Can't wait.
Absolutely. Man, when this week is over, we're going to be exhausted.
Yeah.
I think we all will. But yeah, like you said, if you are interested in Ubisoft and of course I think that we will also talk about Xbox tomorrow again, because there will be a lot of new news trickling out over the next 24 hours, and then we will discuss, of course, Ubisoft and that and everything, the aftermath of Xbox, and then the extended showcase. We cannot wait. Hellblade Avowed is gonna be there. It's gonna be awesome. And then we will cover everything on your channel with live reactions and post shows on this channel. So it's going to be awesome. But for now, I want to say again, thank you to everyone who tuned in here today. Again, we have so many other programs out there, and the fact that you tuned in here means so much. So thank you, guys. I hope you enjoyed the Xbox showcase. It was a fantastic show, no doubt. And if this is what Xbox is going to be like going forward consistently, then we are looking into a very bright future. But for now, again, thank you. I see you guys tomorrow, and don't forget to game on.